993, 993. Chapter 993. Is he a cockroach? How is he still not dead? Asterisk asterisk. This was the first time Lin Moyu activated his full rebirth talent in the great world. It was precisely because of this talent that he dared to tear apart his own soul. Soul injuries are a headache for anyone. Even gods are cautious in protecting their souls. But Lin Moyu was used to it. He often did this. The distance widened again. The Bat King, filled with doubt and unwillingness, chased after him once more. The aura of another god king-level demon became more apparent, quickly closing in. Lin Moyu could already see its form. It was a demon with a head like a black eagle, larger than the bat demon, and faster. Its claws were like human fists, completely different from eagle claws. Demons are diverse, coming in all shapes and sizes. Quickly caught up, surpassing the bat demon, and closed in on Lin Moyu.
Black Eagle King, don't let him escape.
The Bat King shouted, its sole voice reaching Lin Moyu's ears. Lin Moyu was startled, knowing the Black Eagle King was about to strike.
Boy, hand over the lost star, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll tear you to pieces.
The Black Eagle Demon's voice was hoarse. Its wings flapped, and an eagle claw, formed by laws, suddenly appeared and struck Lin Moyu heavily. The claw gripped tightly after hitting him. Lin Moyu's body flashed with white light, and his heart pounded fiercely. In the spell star, the undead army collapsed and regenerated 4 times in succession.
So strong!
Lin Moyu was shocked. Just one claw had such immense power, even more terrifying than the Bat King. This demon was a top-tier powerhouse among god kings. If not for his flame heart, his body might have exploded. The flame heart beat violently, releasing a peculiar power with each beat, continuously strengthening his body. Over time, Lin Moyu felt his body had become much stronger. This was a fundamental strength, unrelated to levels. If this continued, his body would be as strong as those who practice physical laws, even comparable to some physically powerful races. Lin Moyu let out a light shout, splitting his soul again. At the same time, he activated his charge, widening the distance once more. His speed now surpassed the god-slaying fortress, exceeding 100,000 kilometers per second, much faster than ordinary true gods. The Black Eagle Demon and the Bat Demon pursued relentlessly. Lin Moyu could only use all his strength to widen the gap. The full rebirth talent, after being baptized by the Great World Laws, had its cooldown reduced to 50 seconds. Although it was only a 10-second difference, it was a life-saving improvement for Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu just needed to drag it out to last 50 seconds. But 50 seconds was not easy to drag out. It was truly a race against time. The talent tree sensed Lin Moyu's urgency, pouring soul power into his soul and each soul fragment. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal roared continuously, releasing soul power. With ample soul power, the speed of the undead wings had no limit. Combined with the charge skill, Lin Moyu's speed became incredible.
This human boy cannot be left alive. Bat King, use your ultimate skill.
The Black Eagle Demon said, narrowing its eyes. It realized Lin Moyu was extraordinary. What kind of super god at the 6th level could survive so long under the pursuit of 2 god king level demons? Lin Moyu had endured their attacks 3 times and was still alive. Ordinary super gods, even true gods, would have long been dead. But Lin Moyu just wouldn't die. The Bat King flapped its wings and landed on the Black Eagle King.
Give me some time. All right.
Lin Moyu noticed the starry sky suddenly becoming brilliant. Distant stars simultaneously shone brightly. He was startled, knowing the Bat King was about to attack again.
8 seconds left.
It had been 42 seconds since the last talent activation, with 8 seconds remaining for the full rebirth talent's cooldown to end. He had to hold on for these 8 seconds. With a fierce look in his eyes, he took out a box filled with corpse remnants and locked onto the 2 demons. Planetary level spell, Corpse Explosion. The explosion echoed through the starry sky. Lin Moyu didn't expect to injure them, just to delay them for a moment, even if only for a second or half a second. Although they were true god-level corpses, their large number still had considerable power. The Black Eagle King was indeed affected, at least its vision was impaired. Lin Moyu took the opportunity to shake the undead wings and change direction. The undead wings instantly cut off the soul lock, buying Lin Moyu a bit more time. The Black Eagle King rushed out of the explosion, found Lin Moyu again, and chased after him. The starlight grew brighter, and Lin Moyu knew the Bat King's attack was imminent.
4 seconds left.
The previous actions had delayed 4 seconds. Lin Moyu turned around and extended his hand, expanding the spell range to the maximum. Fusion spell, time curse, red light spread, and both the Black Eagle King and the Bat King paused for a moment. The Bat King's spell even interrupted for a moment. The Black Eagle King roared angrily.
You're courting death.
Lin Moyu coldly replied,
Kill me if you can.
The undead army appeared, charging at the Black Eagle King without regard for their lives. The undead army formed a barrier, blocking the Black Eagle King's path.
Get lost.
The Black Eagle King roared, flapping its wings and sending the undead army flying. They quickly disintegrated in mid-air. Lin Moyu recalled them to the spell star. Although the undead army couldn't stop the Black Eagle King, they at least delayed it for a moment.
2 seconds left.
Lin Moyu gritted his teeth, counting the time. The starlight grew brighter, and with 1 second left, the starlight reached its peak and exploded.
Death wave.
The soul voice, carrying terrifying laws, attacked from all directions. His power was much greater than before. In Lin Moyu's soul world, countless Bat Kings appeared, roaring at his soul. Cracks appeared on the crystal in his soul world, on the verge of breaking. In the real world, the starlight also turned into countless Bat Kings, screaming at Lin Moyu. The soul world shook, and the undead army in the spell star collapsed. Lin Moyu used all his strength, desperately activating the life force in the Undying Law to maintain his last bit of life. The Undying Lich appeared again, bringing the Undying Aura. The strange star rose and the Law domain opened. Lin Moyu took out the God-slaying fortress and entered it. The God-slaying fortress exploded, the Law domain collapsed, and the Undying Aura shattered. The last second was the most difficult, but Lin Moyu survived. With a dazzling purple light, Lin Moyu's full rebirth talent was activated at the last moment. Even if it had been 0.1 seconds later, Lin Moyu knew he would have truly died. The undead wings continued to flap, and Lin Moyu activated the charge skill again, instantly moving far away. The Black Eagle King and the Bat King were stunned on the spot.
He's still not dead. Is he a cockroach?
994, 994. Chapter 994. The Return of the Qingjian Taoist, Escaping to Safety. Lin Moyu narrowly escaped death and managed to survive once again. Lin once again widened the distance, never letting go of the Law Star in his hand. Even in the most dangerous moments, he firmly protected the Law Star. The Black Eagle King and the Bat King, filled with anger, chased after him once more. In the starry sky, the enormous shadows of 2 God Kings appeared. While continuing to flee, Lin Moyu suddenly smiled and stopped running. He saw a giant green sword, towering over the sky, larger than the stars. Immediately, a familiar aura swept over his body, crossing the starry sky.
Qingjian for eternity, /
A familiar voice echoed, and starlight pierced through billions of light years, descending upon this place. The green sword, like rain, slashed towards the Black Eagle King and the Bat King.
Soul Law domain. No, it's the Qingjian Taoist. Run.
The Black Eagle King and the Bat King screamed and turned to flee, but they were a step too slow. The green sword sliced through their bodies, and the 2 God Kings were instantly cut into pieces. However, they did not die. 2 souls burst out from their bodies, flying away like lightning, disappearing into the starry sky in an instant. Lin Moyu saw the Qingjian Taoist arriving on his sword and shouted joyfully.
Senior, you're all right.
The Qingjian Taoist snorted.
A mere demon dragon, trying to kill me, not a chance. I just had an itch to fight it properly.
Lin Moyu looked at the Qingjian Taoist and felt something was off. The Qingjian Taoist seemed fine, but his voice sounded weak.
Senior, is your soul injured?
The Qingjian Taoist waved his hand.
It's nothing, just a minor soul injury. A few hundred years of rest will heal it. That creature didn't fare much better. If it weren't for coming to find you, I would have killed it.
Regardless of whether the Qingjian Taoist's words were true, as long as he was fine, it was good. Lin Moyu released the life force of the undying law, and the Qingjian Taoist spirit was instantly revitalized, his pale face gaining color. The Qingjian Taoist was astonished.
Boy, is this your law?
He felt his soul being repaired, and his injuries significantly lessened. What would have taken hundreds of years to heal now only required a few decades. Lin Moyu gathered a ball of life force from the undying law in his palm and handed it to the Qingjian Taoist.
Senior, this is for you.
The Qingjian Taoist accepted it without hesitation.
Not bad, not bad. With this, I can fully recover in 10 years at most.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Thank you for saving my life, Senior. I will never forget it.
The Qingjian Taoist waved his hand.
Don't mention it. It's what I should do. But you, to escape from the Black Eagle King and the Bat King for so long, impressive. And your law is quite good, protecting the Lost Star.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
It's what I should do. Ha, well said. We humans should be like this. Some things are worth risking our lives for. Come, I'll take you home.
The Qingjian Taoist took Lin Moyu on the journey home. On the way, the Qingjian Taoist told Lin Moyu about recent events. The scale of the war had suddenly expanded in the past 2 days. The demons had mobilized large forces, greatly increasing the pressure on the Zhutian domain lord. After all, the Zhutian domain lord only had the power of the human Zhuke star domain, unable to contend with the entire demon race. The pressure on Zhutian doubled, and he called for reinforcements from other star domains. It wasn't until yesterday that strong warriors from the Qinglong star domain and the Baihu star domain arrived, improving the situation. This also meant that there weren't many people available to assist Lin Moyu. In fact, Zhu Tian had sent over a dozen god kings to various positions in the starry sky to assist Lin Moyu. If Lin Moyu hadn't entered the battlefield, he might have been picked up by the god kings arranged by Zhu Tian, avoiding the earlier incident. Hearing this, Lin Moyu smiled apologetically.
I was angry before, and when I saw the battlefield, I couldn't help but want to vent, almost causing a big problem.
The Qingjian Taoist understood.
We cultivators all have tempers. If we didn't, and were always calm, why cultivate at all? Might as well leave the human race and join the Buddhist race. Those guys claim to be detached from worldly affairs, always at peace.
The Qingjian Taoist patted Lin Moyu's shoulder.
A mere first-rank demon dragon, trying to kill me, not a chance. Even if I couldn't win, I wouldn't let it have an easy time.
Listening to the Qingjian Taoist's hearty words, Lin Moyu could only smile. He did think that way at the time, feeling very frustrated. Although they hadn't spent much time together, Lin Moyu saw his master in the Qingjian Taoist. He was a very good senior of the human race. Looking back, he realized his actions were indeed inappropriate. He could have returned the Law Star first, then gone back to the battlefield to fight to his heart's content. The Qingjian Taoist continued,
Don't think too much. Fortunately, you wandered the battlefield for a few days. Otherwise, returning would have been more dangerous. During those days, the demons almost overwhelmed the domain lord and his forces, damaging many God King level warships. That area almost became a dead zone. It would have been hard for you to pass through. Even I would have had a tough time.
Lin Moyu understood that battles at the God King level, even the aftermath, were not something he could withstand. He roughly understood the demon strategy. They wanted to keep the human forces occupied and then send demon kings to target him. If he had returned directly, even the human god kings might not have been able to protect him. If he had been delayed by other matters, the demon kings could have killed him. But the demons didn't account for the Qingjian Daoist's strength and his own unexpected survival abilities. The combination of these factors allowed him to escape safely.
No wonder I didn't get a reply from the Domain Lord when I sent a message through the Human Emperor network. What's the situation now?
Lin Moyu asked. Lin Moyu had contacted Zhu Tian through the Human Emperor network after entering human territory, but received no response. The Qingjian Daoist said,
It's normal. The Domain Lord was besieged a few days ago, fighting for several days, unable to respond.
Lin Moyu was shocked.
Is the Domain Lord all right? He's fine. The Domain Lord is very powerful. Although besieged by 4 peak god kings, he could protect himself. Reinforcements arrived yesterday, and the demons have retreated. You can check the Human Emperor network. He might have replied to you.
Lin Moyu connected to the Human Emperor network and indeed received a message from Zhu Tian. It said that arrangements had been made for someone to come. Just as he finished reading the message, the Qingjian Daoist looked ahead.
Finally, peace.
A god-king level warship arrived, adorned with stars. 995. Chapter 995. The source of the law, the root of the struggle. The front lines stabilized, and the demons retreated. Lin Moyu finally brought back the Law Star, leaving a trace of the Night Rain God's remnant soul and a sliver of life. In the God King class warship, Lin Moyu met Zhu Tian. This time, it was not a projection but the real person. Zhu Tian's smile was very bright as he took the Law Star from Lin Moyu's hand. He felt the remnant soul of the Night Rain God within the Law Star, along with that sliver of life. At this moment, the remnant soul was stable, and the life force was stable, allowing Zhu Tian to finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Not bad, you did a great job this time.
Lin Moyu did not boast but also did not modestly decline the praise. He calmly said,
It was my duty. Fortunately, Senior Qingjian escorted me, otherwise I wouldn't have made it back.
Qingjian Daoist waved his hand.
I was just following orders. If the Domain Lord thinks I worked hard, give me something practical. You.
Zhu Tian laughed and took out a gourd, tossing it to Qingjian Daoist. Qingjian Daoist's eyes lit up. He pulled out the stopper and took a big gulp, shouting,
Refreshing.
The aroma of the wine filled the entire warship. Lin Moyu just took a sniff and felt a bit dizzy, his head spinning. If it weren't for his high-quality soul, he might have passed out directly. This wine was extraordinary. Lin Moyu thought to himself. Just a whiff made him almost drunk. It was no ordinary wine. Zhu Tian continued to speak to Lin Moyu.
This time, we miscalculated. We didn't expect the demons to suddenly increase their forces, putting us in a passive position.
Lin Moyu had already heard about the situation from Qingjian Daoist. Although not in detail, it was roughly the same. The demons suddenly launched a massive attack, disrupting Zhu Tian's deployment, which almost prevented Lin Moyu from returning. Fortunately, Qingjian Daoist was strong enough, almost invincible in the God King realm, to bring Lin Moyu back. Seeing that the situation was hopeless, the demons eventually chose to retreat. Qingjian Daoist, drinking the fine wine, had a flushed face.
This time, the demons tried to gain an advantage but ended up losing. Not only did they fail to kill the Night Rain God, but they also lost the God King. It will hurt them for a while.
Zhu Tian shook his head.
Their God King also had a remnant soul escape, but it will take thousands of years to recover. Comparatively, the Night Rain God is in a better state. I feel that the Night Rain God's condition is quite stable, better than expected.
Qingjian Daoist glanced at the Law Star.
I sensed it long ago. It must be because Lin Moyu treated the Night Rain God. This kid's law can heal souls. My soul was injured and would have taken at least 1,000 years to heal, but now it will only take a few decades.
Zhu Tian made an
Oh.
sound, thinking of Lin Moyu's Undying Law. The Undying Law contained both life and death forces. They had seen the power of death but not much of the life force. Unexpectedly, Lin Moyu's life force could also heal souls, which was beyond his expectations. He carefully sensed the night rain god's remnant soul. Based on previous experience, it would take at least 2,000 years to recover. Now, 500 years would be enough. Zhu Tian smiled.
You did well. The war is over. When we return, we will settle the rewards based on your performance.
Lin Moyu looked slightly puzzled.
Domain Lord, I have a question that I don't understand. I don't know if I should ask. Go ahead, ask anything.
Zhu Tian said kindly, treating Lin Moyu almost as an equal. Qingjian Daoist saw this and roughly understood what was going on. Zhu Tian wanted to push Lin Moyu to become the city lord's disciple, while Luo Chenkuin wanted to pull Lin Moyu into the war god hall. Both were vying for him, so their attitudes couldn't be bad. Lin Moyu asked,
I don't understand why the demons would suddenly attack and besiege the night rain god, only to gain nothing. Such unwise actions are not typical of the demons.
He had this doubt since the mission began. Was it just to kill the night rain god? Or was it merely for the Law Star? The demons shouldn't be so unwise. But during the mission, Lin Moyu kept his doubts to himself and didn't speak out. Zhu Tian smiled kindly.
It's good that you thought of this. It's indeed not that simple. Oh, Domain Lord, please explain. I also find it strange. Why would those demons suddenly attack the night rain god?
Qingjian Daoist asked, his eyes burning with curiosity. Zhu Tian said,
The root cause is that the night rain god discovered a source of law.
A source of law? Lin Moyu had never heard of it and couldn't help but feel curious. Qingjian Daoist gasped.
What law?
Zhu Tian said,
The star-slaying law.
Boom! Qingjian Daoist jumped up, excitedly shouting,
Is it really the star-slaying law?
Zhu Tian nodded.
Yes, that's what the night rain god reported. But the night rain god wasn't the only one who discovered this source of law. The demon's ghost fire god also found it.
Lin Moyu asked curiously,
How could it be such a coincidence?
The starry sky is vast, and although there are countless races, it is still unimaginably empty in the grand scheme of things. An ordinary person could fly in one direction for hundreds or thousands of years without encountering other beings. How could it be such a coincidence that both discovered the source of law at the same time?
You don't understand. Let me explain.
Qingjian Daoist said. His face flushed from the wine, and he became more talkative.
When a source of law first appears, it radiates a strong law outward. The radiation range can be as small as 10 light years or as large as hundreds or thousands of light years. Within this range, as long as your soul quality is above the 3rd grade, you can sense it.
After listening to Qingjian Daoist's explanation, Lin Moyu understood. The star-slaying law source must have radiated a large amount of law, which was sensed by both the night rain god and the demon's ghost fire god. In the end, the ghost fire god and the demon's strongmen besieged the night rain god. Lin Moyu didn't know the details, but the result was clear. Both sides suffered heavy losses, and neither gained any advantage. Zhu Tian took out a small stone from the Law Star. Lin Moyu saw that it looked exactly like a Law Origin stone. The only difference was the law on it, but the appearance was the same. Qingjian Daoist's eyes lit up.
It really is the star-slaying law origin stone. This is the key to the source of law.
Zhu Tian smiled.
Yes, this is what they were fighting over.
Qingjian Daoist's eyes shone with desire, clearly very interested in the star-slaying law source, even determined to obtain it. Zhu Tian said,
Qingjian, you know the rules. Whether you can get it in the end depends on yourself.
Qingjian Daoist took a big gulp of wine and shouted,
Of course, I understand. No need to say more. I must get the star-slaying law.
996, 996. Chapter 996. You took everything. The source of the law seems very important, otherwise, the Qingjian Daoist would not be so determined to obtain it. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Lin Xiaoyu, have you never heard of the source of the law?
Lin Moyu admitted frankly,
I have never heard of it. It's normal if you haven't heard of it. If you had, that would be unusual. When you reach the God King realm and have level 5 permissions, you will be able to access information about the source of the law.
The Qingjian Taoist was drinking wine while staring at the law origin stone in Zhu Tian's hand, seemingly multitasking.
Since Lin Xiaoyu wants to know, I will tell you.
Zhu Tian did not hide information about the source of the law. He now only wanted to befriend Lin Moyu and then push him to become someone else's disciple. Once Lin Moyu succeeded, his status would be completely different, almost equal to Zhu Tian. Therefore, Zhu Tian was always very polite to Lin Moyu. After Zhu Tian's explanation, Lin Moyu finally understood what the source of the law was. The source of the law contains the original power of a certain law. These original powers are ownerless. If one can obtain the original power, it can greatly enhance their law. Of course, it also requires the law one controls to be compatible. The law that the Qingjian Taoist comprehends is the star-slaying law. Now that he has discovered the source of the star-slaying law, how could he let it go? As long as he obtains the original power of the star-slaying law from the source, his strength can be greatly enhanced. It is even possible to achieve the status of a god sovereign in one step. However, there are also rules within the human race. The Qingjian Taoist is not the only one who comprehends the star-slaying law, so there will be competition. But the determined look of the Qingjian Taoist made Lin Moyu feel his resolve. Anyone who competes with him will be his enemy. Blocking his path to enlightenment, what else could they be but enemies? Lin Moyu said,
This time in the elemental secret realm, I also found an elemental law origin stone.
Zhu Tian was not surprised.
We also sent people into that secret realm. The elemental laws inside are very rich, and we guessed that there might be a law origin stone. Unfortunately, the secret realm limits the realm, and there are true god-level beings inside. Our people couldn't reach the end.
Not only did the human race fail to reach the end, but even the demons couldn't. In the end, the demons only used the secret realm as a training ground. Lin Moyu took out the elemental law origin stone he obtained from the elemental secret realm. The elemental law origin stone stood like a small artificial mountain in the warship, instantly filling the warship with various elemental law auras.
So big?
Even Zhu Tian, who had lived for countless years, was shocked. The Qingjian Taoist also exclaimed,
Is this the law origin stone you brought out? No wonder the secret realm disappeared. You took everything. Haha, if the demons knew that their elemental law origin stone was taken away, they would be furious.
Zhu Tian carefully examined the law origin stone. It contained various elemental laws, more than 100 types from inside to outside. Some elemental laws were so tightly intertwined that even Lin Moyu couldn't distinguish them. After a careful examination, Zhu Tian sighed.
Such a huge and comprehensive law origin stone is really rare. Moreover, I observe that it can continuously regenerate, indicating that it likely contains some original power inside. Lin Xiaoyu, what do you plan to do with this elemental law origin stone?
Lin Moyu had indeed thought about this. His first reaction was to sell it all when he returned. Lin Moyu said,
This thing is not very useful to me.
Zhu Tian said,
Indeed, if Lin Xiaoyu trusts me, you can leave this stone to me for handling.
Lin Moyu agreed without hesitation.
That would be great.
The law he comprehends is the first-tier undying law. Besides the undying law, his soul also contains the space law and the time law, waiting for him to comprehend. In addition, he also has the killing law. The elemental law origin stone, full of third-tier laws, is not very useful to him. The only elemental law related to him is the thunder law. Unfortunately, the god-slaying fortress is damaged, and the thunder law seems to have lost its effect. After returning, he still needs to find a flying device. Otherwise, it will be very inconvenient. He doesn't know if his wealth can buy a good flying device. Those super god-level flying devices are not very appealing to Lin Moyu. They are just about the same speed as him, so he might as well fly himself. Zhu Tian smiled and put away the elemental law origin stone.
Although this law origin stone is only of third-tier laws, its value is very high because it contains original power. Lin Xiaoyu, if you need anything, I might be able to get it for you.
Lin Moyu's eyes lit up.
My flying device is damaged. Can the domain lord help me get a suitable one?
He was not shy and asked directly. Zhu Tian liked Lin Moyu's straightforwardness.
No problem. Lin Xiaoyu, you used the god-slaying fortress before, right? How damaged is it?
Lin Moyu took out the shrunken god-slaying fortress, which was full of cracks and on the verge of collapse. Zhu Tian took the god-slaying fortress.
Leave it to me. I will find someone to see if it can be repaired.
The Qingjian Taoist was curious.
The god-slaying fortress, isn't that a military item from the White Tiger Star domain? How did it end up in your hands? I got it from a small world.
Lin Moyu admitted frankly. The Qingjian Taoist frowned.
Although this thing is not great, it is still a true god-level item. How did it end up in a small world?
Zhu Tian coughed lightly and said to the Qingjian Taoist,
Don't forget the rules.
It is one of the human race's rules not to inquire about others' secrets. The Qingjian Taoist took a sip of wine.
Just asking casually, no intention to pry.
The warship left the subspace and saw the familiar starry sky again. Several other warships were lined up in the starry sky, seemingly welcoming Lin Moyu and others. Lin Moyu also saw Jiang Fian, Shen Xian, Xiaoman, and Zhao Li. The four were indeed safe and sound. Seeing Lin Moyu return, Jiang Fian and Shen Xian also breathed a sigh of relief and smiled brightly.
Congratulations on your safe return.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
Congratulations to you too for completing the mission safely.
Shen Xian said playfully.
How was it? Was it dangerous these past few days? Not too bad. The domain lord sent Senior Qingjian to pick me up, so the journey was relatively peaceful.
These words made the Qingjian Taoist's ears twitch. What do you mean by relatively peaceful? That guy killed thousands of demon true gods. He was chased by God King level demons and even encountered a God Sovereign level demon. What happened in these few days was truly extraordinary. A slight mistake and he wouldn't have made it back. What do you mean by relatively peaceful? But the Qingjian Taoist was too lazy to explain. If you say it was peaceful, then it was peaceful. Suddenly, a message came from the Human Emperor Network. The mission is over, and the rewards are now being settled. 997, 997. Chapter 997. I have 360,000 points. Do you? The spirits of the group were lifted as the task was completed, and it was finally time to reap the rewards. Lin Moyu was undoubtedly the one who would receive the lion's share of the rewards. After all, it was Lin Moyu who successfully brought back the Law Star. As for the remnants of the Night Rain God and the key to the Law Source within the Law Star, they were unaware. Task completion rate 100%. Rewards will be distributed based on individual performance. First place, Lin Moyu. Received 5 task points, 100 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, no level restrictions. Second place, Jiang Fian. Received 2 task points, 30 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, no level restrictions. Third place, Shen Xian, Xiaoman, tied. Received 1 task point, 15 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, no level restrictions. Last place, Zhao Li. Received task points, 5 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, no level restrictions. Although their connection to the Human Emperor Network was severed during the task, everything they did was still sensed by the Human Emperor Network. At the final task settlement, the Human Emperor Network ranked them based on their performance. Zhao Li's face turned extremely ugly when he saw the ranking. He gritted his teeth and said coldly,
Why? Why did he get so much more than us?
His points were only 1/10 of Lin Moyu's, and his time in the Human Emperor Training Ground was 20 times less than Lin Moyu's. Jiang Fian rolled her eyes at him.
The Human Emperor Network is fair, you know your own performance.
Xian said.
It's already good enough, we didn't do much. Without Lin Moyu, we probably wouldn't have completed the task.
Jiang Fian laughed.
Not only would we not have completed the task, but we might not have even made it back.
The more they talked, the uglier Zhao Li's face became. His eyes were burning with anger as he stared at Lin Moyu, almost wanting to burn him to death. But the rewards didn't end there. The 5 of them received another message from the Human Emperor Network. Due to Lin Moyu's outstanding performance, after evaluation, Lin Moyu is awarded 2,000 military merits and 500 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground. No level restrictions. Lin Moyu was instantly promoted from a first-tier warrior to a third-tier warrior. While others were not even comparable to cannon fodder, Lin Moyu had already reached the third-tier warrior level. Many true gods who had joined the army not long ago were far inferior to him. 500 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground was a generous reward. Jiang Fian, Xian, and Xiaman all looked at Lin Moyu with envy. They didn't know what Lin Moyu had experienced in the past few days, but they knew that the Human Emperor Network was absolutely fair. Even the Domain Master Zhu Tian could not manipulate the Human Emperor Network. Lin Moyu deserved the rewards he received. They could understand, but Zhao Li couldn't. The final reward became the last straw that broke Zhao Li's back. Zhao Li was furious and pointed at Lin Moyu.
I want to challenge you on the Human Emperor arena.
Lin Moyu readily agreed.
Sure, as we agreed in the secret realm, I'll bet all my points. I now have 360,000 points. How many do you have?
Even if Zhao Li didn't initiate the challenge, Lin Moyu didn't intend to let him go. Zhao Li had provoked him multiple times, and he had to be punished. He wouldn't kill him, but he wouldn't let him off easily either. Lin Moyu believed in repaying grudges and clearing grievances. Zhao Li's face changed dramatically, and he shouted in disbelief.
Impossible. How can you have so many points? You're only a 6-tier super god with third-level permissions. It's impossible to have so many points.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Whether I have that many points or not is none of your business. I just ask if you dare to bet. If you don't dare, admit your mistake and apologize, and I can let you go. You say I don't dare to bet?
Zhao Li was provoked again. How could he admit his mistake and apologize? But he really didn't have that many points. Under the gaze of everyone, Zhao Li felt his face burning with shame. Lin Moyu sighed.
It seems you don't have that many points. How about this? I'll take a step back, and we'll bet as many points as you have. No need.
Zhao Li shouted angrily.
He communicated with the Human Emperor Network.
I want to exchange my time in the Human Emperor Training Ground for points.
Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback.
Is that possible?
Xiaman explained.
It is possible, and the time in the Human Emperor Training Ground without level restrictions is worth a lot of points, but it's not cost-effective.
Jiang Fian added.
It's really not cost-effective. Normally, you should accumulate this time and use it together when you reach the God King level. At the God King level, each day in the Human Emperor Training Ground requires 100,000 points. But if you exchange it now, each day can only be exchanged for 10,000 points, a tenfold difference.
反斜杠 section 星号015求鲜花 Indeed, it was too cost-ineffective. Any normal person wouldn't make such an exchange. But Zhao Li was clearly not normal at this moment. He didn't care and exchanged his time in the Human Emperor Training Ground for points.
Zhao Li snarled.
I want to raise the stakes. I not only want to bet your points, but also your time in the Human Emperor Training Ground.
Lin Moyu then realized that this was also possible. Lin Moyu smiled.
Sure, how do you want to bet?
Zhao Li gritted his teeth.
Besides points, I have 50 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, no level restrictions. Do you dare?
Lin Moyu shrugged.
No problem.
He still had 1,800 days in the Human Emperor Training Ground, so he didn't care about this 50-day bet. Moreover, could he possibly lose?
Zhao Li shouted.
Good, no backing out. No backing out.
Under the witness of the Human Emperor Network, the bet was established. They could choose to fight in the Human Emperor Network or in reality. Zhao Li chose to fight in reality. He wanted to give Lin Moyu a deep and unforgettable lesson. There was no Human Emperor arena in the Starry Sky, and Zhao Li didn't have a challenge card, so they couldn't fight here. But with Zhu Tian present as the domain master, he had full authority. He marked out an area in the Starry Sky as a temporary arena. Zhao Li immediately flew over and beckoned to Lin Moyu.
Enter the arena.
Lin Moyu was about to go over when Zhu Tian reminded him.
Go easy on him.
The nearby Qingjian Taoist, who was drinking, also said lightly,
Lin boy, go easy on him. Don't kill him.
Lin Moyu smiled.
I don't intend to kill him, just to teach him a lesson.
Their words made Jiang Fian and the others look surprised. They realized that they might have underestimated Lin Moyu. In Zhu Tian and Qingjian Taoist's eyes, Zhao Li was far inferior to Lin Moyu. They didn't think Lin Moyu would lose at all, but were worried that Lin Moyu might accidentally kill Zhao Li. Lin Moyu flew into the arena, and when the Human Emperor Network's information arrived, the duel officially began. 998, 998. Chapter 998. Add more chips, be high profile. The duel will begin in 10 seconds, starting the countdown now. 10, 9, 8. Zhao Li looked at Lin Moyu, his anger mixed with a hint of cruelty.
I won't kill you, but I will make you feel real pain. Just a mere 6th-tier super god. Don't think that luck can put you on par with me.
Lin Moyu couldn't be bothered with him and didn't know where his confidence came from. Did he really think that being a 9th-tier super god and mastering the law domain made him invincible? Didn't he know that some people could fight across realms? Let the facts speak for themselves. As the countdown ended, Zhao Li's entire body erupted in flames. The law domain suddenly expanded. Flames soared into the sky, and the momentum was immense. At this moment, he pushed the blazing law to its limit, transforming into a giant of flames. Lin Moyu sighed softly, raising his finger gently, without any trace of smoke or fire. Fusion spell. Time curse. An inconspicuous red light flashed by. A scream came from within the flames. The fire extinguished, and the domain collapsed. Zhao Li clutched his head. His entire body curled up, shivering in the starry sky. Qingjian Taoist sighed.
He really brought this on himself.
Jiang Fian and the others were stunned. Was it that simple? The moment before, Zhao Li was still imposing, but in the next second he was reduced to a wretch. Zhu Tian's eyes flashed with brilliance.
This is the law of time.
He saw the law of time contained within the time curse. Although it was only a faint trace, it did not escape his eyes. Zhu Tian's shock was far greater than the others. He knew too well what the law of time meant. Among the first-tier laws, time and space were ranked among the top. Unexpectedly, Lin Moyu's spell contained the law of time. Lin Moyu's eyes carried a slight smile. This time, using the time curse was intentional. Since Zhu Tian thought highly of him, he would make him think even more highly. He believed Zhu Tian could definitely see that he used the law of time. Zhu Tian indeed saw it, and now he regretted it a bit.
If I had known this kid could use the law of time, I shouldn't have sent him on this mission. What is the law source worth? Even if we had to use other means to retrieve the lost star, we shouldn't have let him take the risk. Fortunately, he returned safely, otherwise it would have been troublesome. Does that old guy Luo Qiankun know? He probably does, otherwise he wouldn't have fought so fiercely. The War God Hall can't let you take all the benefits.
At this moment, Zhu Tian had countless thoughts swirling in his mind. Lin Moyu's status in his heart rose again. Lin Moyu didn't know if he had achieved the desired effect, but he had won the duel in front of him. Zhao Li howled in pain in the starry sky, no longer able to continue fighting. The Human Emperor Network decisively announced Lin Moyu's victory, transferring Zhao Li's 360,000 points and 50 days of Human Emperor training ground time to Lin Moyu. The duel ended, and as soon as Lin Moyu returned, Zhu Tian called him over. Zhu Tian pulled Lin Moyu aside.
Did you just use the law of time?
His tone was serious, his old eyes bright and sharp, staring intently at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu whispered.
I used a little.
Zhu Tian continued to ask.
Have you comprehended the law of time?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Not yet. I can only use this spell to mobilize a tiny bit of the law of time's power.
Zhu Tian could see that Lin Moyu was not lying. He had not yet comprehended the law of time.
Besides the law of immortality and the law of time, what other laws do you know?
Zhu Tian felt that Lin Moyu was like a mystery, and it was better to ask everything at once than to unravel it bit by bit. Lin Moyu did not hide anything, continuing to add to his chips.
Recently, by chance, I mastered the law of killing and combined it with the law of immortality to form a dual law domain. The law of killing, which is also a good law in the second tier. The dual law domain is also good, with great potential for development.
Zhu Tian had high standards and he didn't think much of the second-tier laws. But the dual law domain made him look at Lin Moyu with even more respect. Lin Moyu continued.
I have a spell that can invoke the law of space, but I don't have time to comprehend it now.
Hearing the words,
Law of space.
Zhu Tian's eyes widened instantly.
Are you sure it's the law of space?
Lin Moyu nodded.
It is indeed the law of space. Demonstrate it.
The wings of the undead spread open. Lin Moyu injected all his soul power into them. The wings vibrated, turning into a stream of light flying into the distance. Zhu Tian watched intently, his eyes filled with increasing wonder. Behind Lin Moyu, a space crack thinner than a hair appeared. It was indeed the law of space. Zhu Tian clenched his fist, his whole body slightly excited, muttering to himself,
Luo Qianquan, you old guy, you knew about the law of space but kept it hidden. I won't let you off.
On the other side, Zhang Fian and the others saw Lin Moyu suddenly flying into the starry sky and wondered.
Qin Jian Taoist, what's he doing?
Qin Jian Taoist chuckled.
Who knows, maybe the domain master has something for him to do.
Shen Shen leaned over to Qin Jian Taoist.
Qin Jian Taoist, have you been escorting Lin Moyu these past few days?
Qin Jian Taoist nodded.
Not the whole time, about half and half.
Shen Shen continued to ask.
So when you weren't there, was Lin Moyu alone? Wasn't that dangerous?
Qin Jian Taoist laughed, seeing through Xuan's little thoughts. He squinted his eyes, looking at Shen Shen.
You want to know Lin Moyu's strength, right?
Shen Shen stuck out her tongue.
You found out.
She admitted it straightforwardly, without any pretense.
Why don't you ask him yourself?
Shen Shen whispered.
It's not polite to pry into others' secrets. It's embarrassing to ask directly.
At this moment, Shen Shen took out a gourd.
Qin Jian Taoist loves wine. This wine is for you, as a token of my respect.
Qin Jian Taoist took it with curiosity, opened the gourd, and sniffed.
Falling maple green? Your surname is Xian. Are you from the Xian family of the 56 star system?
Shen Shen giggled.
The family elder knows Qin Jian Taoist. I've heard stories about you since I was a child.
Not only did she bribe with wine, but she also established a connection.
Turns out you're a descendant of an old friend. I'll tell you a bit then.
Qin Jian Taoist's tone carried a hint of nostalgia, as if memories were surfacing. Xiaman and Zhang Fian immediately perked up their ears. They were also very curious about Lin Moyu's strength. Lin Moyu defeated Zhao Li, a 9th-tier supergod, with a single finger, making them wonder if Lin Moyu was really just a 6th-tier supergod. Qin Jian Taoist slowly said,
He can fight across realms, slaughter true gods, and survive under a god king.
999, 999. Chapter 999. The big world is cruel and cold. Qin Jian Taoist's simple words clearly described Lin Moyu's combat power. Shen Shen was stunned. Zhang Fian and Xiaman were also stunned, unable to believe it. Lin Moyu was only at the 6th tier of the super god level, and being able to fight across levels was already impressive. But in Qingjian Taoist's words, it became fighting across realms. Fighting across levels and fighting across realms are fundamentally different concepts. The most shocking part was that Qingjian Taoist said Lin Moyu could slaughter true gods and survive under a god king. This was even more astonishing than Lin Moyu's ability to fight across realms. Even if one could fight across realms, it shouldn't be possible to slaughter true gods. What does slaughter mean? It means killing all the way through without any opponents. Qingjian Taoist chuckled.
Don't think it's an exaggeration. In the days I wasn't around, this kid killed at least 3,000 to 4,000 demon true gods on the battlefield, including several at the peak of the true god level. So that kid didn't lose unjustly. Even if there were 10,000 more of his kind, they wouldn't be enough for Lin Moyu to kill. Lin Moyu has already shown mercy.
In the eyes of others, someone like Zhao Li, at the peak of the super god level and able to control the law domain, could be considered a genius. But what kind of existence was Qingjian Taoist? He himself was a genius who could fight across realms. In his eyes, someone like Zhao Li was nothing. His tone was filled with disdain. Shenxian understood that if what Qingjian Taoist said was true, Lin Moyu had indeed shown mercy. No wonder Zhu Tian had to remind Lin Moyu to go easy before the duel. They were really afraid that Lin Moyu might accidentally kill someone. The three of them looked at each other, realizing that Lin Moyu was the core of their mission. The four of them were just there to make up the numbers. Lin Moyu alone was enough. Zhang Fian bit her lip.
I'm so mad, I ended up just making up the numbers.
Shenxian giggled.
Making up the numbers isn't bad. At least the rewards are good. I hope I can make up the numbers more often in the future.
Xiaoman clenched her fists.
I'm too weak, I need to work harder.
Qingjian Taoist said slowly.
People not only need to work hard but also need to know the times and understand when to advance and retreat. Otherwise, they won't even know how they died.
Lin Moyu flew back from the starry sky. He was greeted by Zhu Tian's strange gaze. Zhu Tian looked at him as if he were a rare treasure, making Lin Moyu feel uneasy. Lin Moyu wondered if he had gone too far. Had he added too many chips?
Domain Master, are you all right?
Lin Moyu asked. Zhu Tian shook his head.
I'm fine. Besides the laws of killing, immortality, time, and space, have you come into contact with any other laws?
Lin Moyu said.
I also have the law of lightning, mastered to 1%. That's all.
Zhu Tian waved his hand.
That's fine. Listen to me, before you reach the god level, just focus on comprehending the law of immortality. Let the law of killing come naturally. As for the third-tier laws, they're not very important, don't worry about them. Remember, before reaching the god level, don't try to comprehend the laws of time and space.
Lin Moyu asked.
Why? Is there a reason?
Zhu Tian said.
Of course, there's a reason, but you don't need to know it now. Just remember, don't try to comprehend the laws of time and space. Suppress your curiosity. Now is not the time, understand? Understood.
Since Zhu Tian said so, Lin Moyu wouldn't say he didn't understand. He now recalled that Antares had said something similar. Antares had told him to focus on comprehending one law, saying that time was limited and human lifespans were too short. Comprehending one law was already very good. But obviously there was a deeper meaning.
All right, your mission is over. I'll send a warship to take you back. After you return, train well and complete missions. Try to raise your level and permissions as soon as possible. Try to raise both together. Although your combat power is good, you need to raise your permissions to level 4 before becoming a true god. I'll handle the elemental law stone for you, and I'll take care of the aircraft issue.
Zhu Tian began to send them off. The battle had just ended, and he had many things to deal with. He had already spent too much time here. If it weren't for Lin Moyu, he wouldn't have come here at all. Zhang Fian and the others weren't worth his time. Several God King level warships arrived to take the 4 of them back. Before parting, Lin Moyu exchanged contact information with Shenxian, Zhang Fian, and Xiaman, so they could contact each other through the Human Emperor network if needed. As for Zhao Li, he was excluded. The lesson Zhao Li received this time was deep enough, losing all his 100 years of accumulation. If Zhu Tian hadn't sent a warship to take him back, he wouldn't even have the fare to return. Zhao Li's dejected appearance drew a disdainful sneer from Qingjian Taoist. Failure is not to be feared. Everyone fails at some point in their life. But whether one can withstand failure makes a big difference. Some people can't handle even one failure, and such people are destined for no great achievements. In Qingjian Taoist's eyes, someone like Zhao Li was already finished. At most, he could break through to the true god level, but becoming a god king was impossible. The warship carried Lin Moyu through subspace. Watching the flowing light in subspace, Lin Moyu felt a sense of reflection. This mission had shown him just a small part of the big world battlefield. It was really just the tip of the iceberg, not even that. In the big world, the real battlefield was at the god level and even higher. The true god-level battlefield was just a small skirmish, a training ground. For various races, only those who survived and grew on the battlefield were considered true strongmen. Most races were like this. Those who died on the battlefield were not worth pitying. The human race was already doing its best to protect its people, but the big world was not a nurturing ground, and ultimately this was all they could do. The big world is cruel and cold. To survive, one has no choice but to make such choices. Compared to the big world, looking back at the small world seemed like child's play. Lin Moyu thought a lot. He didn't know if he could survive and grow stronger in the big world. But he would try. He had his own beliefs. His soul opened its eyes and saw the coffin of slumber before him.
Yi Xian Xian Yin Er Han Er, I will work hard. One day, we will be together forever.
In the god-level warship, Zhu Tian reported the situation here. He also reported that Lin Moyu possessed the laws of time and space. He expressed his hope that Lin Moyu could join the army. As long as Lin Moyu joined the army, he would be labeled as one of their own. Soon, he received a message from the central god city. The city lord personally replied, telling him that Lin Moyu could not join the army. Seeing the message, Zhu Tian understood why and cursed,
Luo Qianquan, you bastard.
Then his eyes lit up.
He can't join the army, but it doesn't say he can't earn military merits and raise his rank. As long as he sees the allure of military merits, I don't believe the War God Hall can take him away.
1000. Chapter 1000. Time House, you can't say that. The Suzaku 98 star system had returned to peace, with all defensive measures lifted, indistinguishable from a peaceful day. Lin Moyu returned to the 98 star system, watching the God King-class warship disappear into the distance. He knew that there should be many soldiers on the God King-class warship. However, he and these soldiers were in different spaces and would not meet each other. In the human race, the hierarchy was equally strict. Soldiers had their own world, different from that of ordinary people. Even if one earned military merits and was promoted in rank, as long as they had not joined the army, they were not considered soldiers. Lin Moyu understood military merits as the military's currency, which could be used to buy things that couldn't be bought with points. Military rank was equivalent to level permissions. Different ranks allowed the purchase of different items. But no matter how high your rank or how many military merits you had, as long as you hadn't joined the army, your rank was useless. Even if you became a general, without joining the army, you couldn't command a single soldier. This was fundamentally different from the small world. In the small world, once you became a god general, your orders were absolute. In contrast, the big world was much stricter. The military was completely independent. Lin Moyu currently knew that the human race had both the military and the War God Hall. The military, represented by Domain Master Zhu Tian, controlled the world where humans lived daily. The War God Hall, represented by Luo Qianquan, was more like a religion, representing the spiritual belief of the human race, lofty and mysterious. The scene before him gradually darkened, and light replaced the darkness. Lin Moyu passed through the dark starry sky and entered the bright stars. The familiar scene appeared before him. Star 98-1 was still bustling with people. There was a clear separation yet integration between the living areas of ordinary people and those of cultivators. Many cultivators would enter the living areas of ordinary people to relax and enjoy some delicacies. Among ordinary people, some would go to the world of cultivators to interact and work with them. This world was beautiful and peaceful. But Lin Moyu knew that countless human warriors were out there, shedding blood for this peace. Countless ancestors had paid the price in blood to achieve this peace. Lin Moyu had come from the small world, experiencing storms rather than a nurturing environment. His feelings were different from many in the big world.
Brother Lin, you're back.
A loud voice rang in his ears. Lin Moyu saw Renchong, who seemed to have been waiting at the mission center. He hadn't sent any messages, probably fearing it would disturb him. But from Renchong's actions, Lin Moyu felt a bit of warmth. He was a good friend. Lin Moyu didn't have many friends, especially after entering the big world. Besides Gu Qingban, it seemed only this guy in front of him. Renchong looked Lin Moyu up and down.
Good, good. No missing arms or legs.
Lin Moyu laughed.
So what if I was missing an arm or leg? It's not like it can't be healed. That's different. The ones that grow back aren't the same as the ones you're born with.
Renchong said exaggeratedly. Lin Moyu asked,
Were you waiting for me here?
Renchong replied,
What else? You went to the front line, and I was afraid you wouldn't come back, so I waited for a few days. How did you know I went to the front line? I'm not stupid. How could I not guess something so simple? All right, you're not stupid. Exactly. What are you planning to do next?
Lin Moyu thought for a moment.
I plan to train a bit. I've been doing tasks too quickly. If I continue, I'll reach level 4 permissions.
According to Zhu Tian, permissions shouldn't be raised too quickly. Wait until reaching the true God realm before raising permissions to level 4. Lin Moyu thought it made sense. He had been a bit impatient. But time waits for no one, and improving strength isn't something that can be done overnight. Strange stars aren't everywhere. The nearest one was in the White Tiger star system. He didn't know how many light years away it was, and he wasn't qualified to go there yet. Renchong's eyes lit up.
You want to train? When the Human Emperor network opens, you can go to the Human Emperor training ground.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I don't need to go to the Human Emperor training ground. It doesn't have the laws I need.
Renchong was slightly stunned.
Your laws are that rare? No problem. I'll take you to a good place. What place? The Time House. Time House? What's that? Come on, I'll explain on the way.
After Renchong's explanation, Lin Moyu understood the function of the Time House. In general, the Time House was similar to the Human Emperor training ground. Both could accelerate time flow. In the Time House for super gods, training for 10 days only took 1 day in the real world. But it didn't have the Law Sea, so it couldn't help comprehend Law Stars. Similarly, it was 10 times cheaper than the Human Emperor training ground. A room with 10 times the time flow for super gods only cost 100 points per day. Because it couldn't help comprehend laws, many people preferred the Law Sea, even though it was 10 times more expensive. The Law Sea's help in comprehending laws couldn't be compensated by a 10-fold price difference. But Lin Moyu was different. He didn't need to comprehend Law Stars, so the Law Sea was useless to him. Thus, the Time House, which was 10 times cheaper, was more suitable for Lin Moyu. Renchong said as they walked.
I didn't expect Brother Lin's laws to be so rare. It's said that the Law Sea already contains most of the world's laws.
At this point, Renchong suddenly paused, as if struck by lightning, and stammered.
Brother Lin, the laws you control, they aren't those second-tier strong laws, are they? Only second-tier laws are hard to find in the Law Sea. Many second-tier laws can only be found in the Law Sea of the Central God's City.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No.
Renchong sighed in relief.
Not second-tier, then it must be too rare.
Lin Moyu raised a finger.
It's first-tier.
Bang! Renchong fell to the ground, prostrating himself.
Brother Lin, I surrender. Do you know that scaring people can be deadly?
Lin Moyu pulled him up.
Didn't mean to scare you. It's just first tier, nothing special.
Lin Moyu didn't want to hide it. His control of first-tier laws couldn't be concealed. He had already been very high profile and soon others would know, especially with his performance on the battlefield, seen by countless demons. His information had probably already reached other races. Renchang exclaimed, then quickly lowered his voice.
You can't say that. Who says first-tier laws are nothing? Saying that makes others feel hopeless.
1001. Chapter 1001. A big business deal. Renchang lowered his voice, but his expression was extremely exaggerated. Lin Moyu found it amusing to see such a contrasting display. In Renchang's eyes, first-tier laws were akin to invincible powers. This guy even mentioned that his future goal was merely to comprehend a second-tier law. As for first-tier laws, he hadn't even dared to dream about them. It was likely that most cultivators shared his mindset. First-tier laws were just dreams, while second-tier laws were the tangible hopes they could see and touch. Just like those who could enter the God City were few and far between. Only in the Law Sea of the God City could one see first-tier laws. How many could be like Lin Moyu comprehending a first-tier law on their own? After some idle chatter, the two arrived at the teleportation array. They activated the teleportation array, targeting the Suzaku 90 star system. The distance was exactly 20 light-years, which was the farthest Renchang could travel.
Reincarnated explained.
Time houses aren't available in every star system. Generally, one batch of time houses is set up for every 20 star systems. The nearest time house to us is in the 90 star system.
Lin Moyu nodded. Time houses weren't part of the Human Emperor network but existed in the real world. Changing the flow of time must be incredibly difficult to set up, so their numbers were limited. Time houses weren't located on life stars. The human race had specially created a small star for them. Outside the 98-1 life star, there was a satellite orbiting it, resembling a moon when viewed from the 98-1 star. On it, a vast area was covered by a massive formation. Within the formation, there were a total of 1,000 ancient stone houses, each situated at a node of the formation. From the starry sky, the entire formation appeared grand and solemn, exuding an ancient aura. Lin Moyu could sense the passage of time from the formation.
Reincarnated sighed.
I came here once with my elders. The first time I saw it, I was shocked. I felt that this formation was incredibly ancient, almost unbelievably so. Each of those stone houses is older than my family, having existed for countless millennia. The person who set up this formation must have been incredibly powerful.
Indeed, to create a formation that could alter the flow of time, one had to be extraordinarily strong. Each of the 1,000 stone houses was situated at a node of the formation, allowing for a tenfold acceleration of time within them. In the real world, one day would pass while 10 days passed inside the stone house. This effectively saved 10 times the amount of time. In medium star systems, there were also time houses for true gods. The time flow could reach 20 times, but the cost was much higher. Lin Moyu thought he might try it in the future. Lin Moyu said,
I might stay here for a while. Renchang, you can go ahead and do some tasks. Contact me when I come out.
Reincarnated responded.
All right, I'll go do some tasks first. Thank you, Renchang. Thank me for what? It's such a small matter. Don't be so formal. If you need anything, just contact me. I might not be able to help with everything, but I do know a bit about the big world.
Renchang waved his hand casually and left. He also needed to do tasks. The recent demon invasion had disrupted the comfort of the super gods. They had thought that super gods didn't need to go to the battlefield, that the real battlefield was far away from them. Even at the true god level, if one just focused on tasks, they wouldn't need to face the dangerous battlefield. But reality was different. When war truly came, no one could escape. When foreign races invaded their territory, even super gods, who were considered less than cannon fodder, had to fight. If they weren't enough, even those considered ordinary half-step super gods would have to go to the battlefield. In an avalanche, no snowflake is innocent. Although the human emperor network hadn't been restored, many had already received the information. Super gods began to train with all their might, diligently completing various tasks. Only by becoming stronger could they survive in the big world. A sense of crisis arose. The atmosphere seemed to become tense all of a sudden. Lin Moyu thought this was good. He had always felt a sense of urgency, but the people in the big world seemed much more relaxed. This time they would feel the pressure. Lin Moyu flew into the formation, as if entering another world. The moment he entered the formation, he felt the whole world slow down.
Yin and yang.
He murmured softly, feeling a sense of understanding. Many things had opposites, just as the law of immortality contained the extremes of life and death. The law of time also contained the opposing attributes of fast and slow. Within the formation, time in the time house was fast, passing quickly inside. But outside the time house, time was slow. Time passed very slowly here, even affecting his movement speed. In that instant, Lin Moyu seemed to gain a new understanding of the law of time. The law of time was fascinating, and he felt an urge to comprehend it. But Zhu Tian's warning echoed in his ears. Do not comprehend other laws before becoming a god. Abandon the law of lightning, and even the second-tier law of killing should come naturally. Focus solely on the law of immortality. Lin Moyu believed Zhu Tian wouldn't harm him and knew there must be a reason. He suppressed his desire to comprehend the law of time, deciding to wait until he became a god. He arrived at the center of the formation, where an ancient and grand building stood. Time Hall. A large plaque hung above the building, inscribed with 3 grand characters. Time Hall. A place to cherish time? Lin Moyu smiled slightly, understanding the meaning. Even though cultivators had long lifespans, the path of cultivation was even longer. To advance further, one truly needed to cherish time. The time hall wasn't crowded, unlike the task center or trading center. Many people preferred to spend 10 times the price to train in the Law Sea of the Human Emperor training ground. With the presence of law stars, the speed of comprehending laws was dozens or even hundreds of times faster than here. Only those with rare laws would come here. Lin Moyu walked to the counter in the center of the hall and said to the staff behind it,
Hello, I'd like to rent a time house.
The staff member was a young, beautiful girl already at the first tier of the super god level.
How long would you like to rent it for, senior?
She asked with a bright smile. Not only was she beautiful, but her voice was also very pleasant. In fact, since entering the big world, Lin Moyu hadn't seen any unattractive girls. By his standards, they were all beauties. Perhaps this was a feature of the big world. Lin Moyu didn't mind.
I'll rent it for 100 days first.
The girl's eyes lit up. 100 days meant 10,000 points. A big business deal. 1002. Chapter 1002. Are you getting old and senile? There weren't many people in the time house, even though it was about 10 times cheaper than the Human Emperor training ground. However, 100 points per day was still not cheap for many cultivators. Those who comprehended obscure laws often had average strength, making it difficult to complete tasks and earn points. After accounting for daily expenses, purchasing pills, tools, and materials, there wasn't much left. For those who came here, renting for 10 days to half a month was already considered a lot. Renting for 100 days at once was rare. The girl named Zhu Qiao's eyes lit up, looking at Lin Moyu as if he were a wealthy patron.
Senior, are you really going to rent for 100 days?
That would be 10,000 points. According to the rules of the time house, she could get a 1% commission, which would be 100 points. For someone like her, who was just at the first tier of the super god level with only level 1 permissions, 100 points was a considerable amount. Lin Moyu felt that Zhu Qiao's gaze was a bit strange, seemingly too excited.
Let's start with 100 days. If it's not enough, I'll add more. Not enough, and you'll add more.
Zhu Qiao's eyes sparkled even more. A real wealthy patron had arrived. But clearly, Lin Moyu was only at the 6th tier of the super god level with level 3 permissions. Where did he get so many points? Zhu Qiao had seen seniors with level 3 permissions before. Those at the 8th or 9th tier of the super god level were usually very frugal with their points. She had no idea that Lin Moyu had a fortune of 720,000 points. Spending 10,000 points was just a drop in the bucket for him. Lin Moyu was just trying out the time house. If it worked well, he would definitely add more time. 100 days was too short to comprehend a law. Zhu Qiao enthusiastically registered Lin Moyu and then led him to the time house.
Senior Lin, I've chosen time house number 9 for you. We have a total of 1,000 time houses here, and number 9 is the most special in the entire formation. It is at the intersection of many nodes in the formation, making it the clearest place to comprehend the laws of the big world, and the most effective. Although it can't compare to the Law C, it's already the best we have here. No matter what law Senior Lin wants to comprehend, time house number 9 will provide some enhancement.
On the way to the time house, Zhu Qiao introduced some details about the time house to Lin Moyu. Although they were all within the same formation and the effects were similar, there were still some differences depending on the location. The clarity of the big world laws varied slightly under the time formation. Some time houses had a smaller impact on the big world laws, while others had a larger impact. Although the difference wasn't significant, the smaller the impact, the better. Zhu Qiao specially chose the best time house for Lin Moyu, as big customers deserved extra care. Following the formation nodes, they arrived at time house number 9. Zhu Qiao opened the door for Lin Moyu.
Rest assured, Senior, no one will disturb you.
Lin Moyu could feel the aura of the time law emanating from the house.
If I haven't come out after 100 days, don't call me. Just automatically deduct the points.
Lin Moyu didn't know how long it would take to comprehend the law. His points could support him for up to 7,200 days. Converted to real-world time, that was about 720 days or roughly 2 years, which should be enough. Zhu Qiao smiled brightly.
Understood, Senior. Please focus on your cultivation.
Lin Moyu nodded and walked into the time house. The ancient door closed with a rumble, and the originally dark time house suddenly lit up. The surroundings became transparent, and Lin Moyu felt as if he were in the void, with the aura of the big world laws rushing towards him. The feeling was slightly different from outside, but not by much. If his soul quality weren't as high as the 4th grade, he might not have been able to sense it. Any law was just one of the many laws of the big world. Even if there were no corresponding law stars in the Law Sea, it was still possible to comprehend them from the big world laws, though the effect wouldn't be as good.
Big world laws. Useless to me.
Lin Moyu didn't need to comprehend the big world laws. He only needed to comprehend his own law of immortality. He didn't need the law stars in the Law Sea either. He had something better. In his soul world, among the multi-star spells, the law of immortality was manifested in a tangible form, far more effective than the law stars. The multi-star spells related to bones contained the power of death from the law of immortality. The multi-star spells related to summoning contained the power of life from the law of immortality. Lin Moyu only needed to comprehend them and merge the two forces to comprehend the complete law of immortality. From 0 to 1 was the hardest part. It had taken Lin Moyu more than 2 years. But once he reached 1, further comprehension became much easier. Lin Moyu sat quietly in the time house, fully immersed in his cultivation. This was his first formal cultivation since entering the big world. Time passed day by day, and Lin Moyu was completely absorbed in his cultivation. On Suzaku Star number 1, also known as the Domain Master Star, the Domain Master's residence was located. Domain Master Zhu Tian looked at the newly received information, his expression slightly serious.
Is the information accurate?
In front of him stood a person wrapped in a black robe, head bowed.
It should be accurate.
His voice was also hoarse and low. His name was Hei Kei, one of Zhu Tian's secret forces. Zhu Tian had several such people under his command. The one who had followed Lin Moyu earlier was also one of them. Heike was mainly responsible for intelligence work. This time, he had obtained information about Lin Moyu and delivered it immediately. Zhu Tian said in a low voice,
You may leave. Keep an eye on him, and if there's any movement, report to me.
Heike asked in a low voice,
Should we send someone to protect him?
Zhu Tian thought for a moment.
Send 2 people to follow him secretly. Don't act unless absolutely necessary. I believe he can handle it himself. Understood.
Heike responded and left. After he left, Zhu Tian entered the Human Emperor network and contacted Luo Chenkuan.
Old Luo, come out.
He was not polite at all. The two of them knew each other well and didn't need to be polite. In front of him, a light flashed, revealing Luo Chenkuan's figure. This was the advantage of the Human Emperor network. No matter where you were, you could meet with just a thought. Luo Chenkuan glared at Zhu Tian.
Old Zhu, do you want to fight?
Zhu Tian said irritably,
Who has time to fight you? I want to ask you, do you know that Lin Moyu has entered the demon must-kill list?
Luo Chenkuan didn't speak, just looked at him quietly. His expression made Zhu Tian even angrier.
Don't play dumb. You must know. With your War God Hall's intelligence network, if even I know, how could you not?
Luo Chenkuan chuckled.
Then why are you asking? Are you getting old and senile?
1003 Chapter 1003. One cannot grow in a comfort zone. Zhu Tian and Luo Chenkuan, 2 old fellows whose combined age was unknown, stared at each other, neither willing to back down. After a while, Zhu Tian couldn't help but speak.
What is the War God Hall planning to do?
Luo Chenkuan looked at him as if he were an idiot.
Do you think I would tell you?
Zhu Tian snorted.
Even if you don't say, I can roughly guess. Since you can guess, why ask?
Luo Chenkuan retorted unceremoniously. Ignoring his words, Zhu Tian said in a deep voice,
I just want to confirm. If you don't say, it's fine. I'll immediately order people to protect Lin Moyu closely. No one will be able to touch him.
Hearing this, Luo Chenkuan's face changed, and he angrily rebuked.
Are you crazy? A tree cannot grow tall in a greenhouse.
Zhu Tian chuckled.
Are you anxious? Is it any of your business?
This was exactly the reaction Zhu Tian wanted from Luo Chenkuan. Based on the War God Hall's past actions, he had already roughly deduced what they would do. Luo Chenkuan glared at Zhu Tian.
What exactly do you want?
Zhu Tian said,
It's simple. I want to share information about Lin Moyu. Don't hide any information you have, and I'll tell you everything I know. Let me think about it.
Luo Chenkuan fell into deep thought. Zhu Tian was not in a hurry and also pondered some information about Lin Moyu. The demon race had a list called the
Demon Must-Kill List.
The people on this list were those whom the demon race considered threats to their own race. Lin Moyu had shown astonishing combat power this time. Although his level was still low and he was like an ant to the demon race, his potential made the demon race feel threatened. If Lin Moyu were to grow and maintain such combat power, therefore, Lin Moyu was added to the demon race's must-kill list, and they would use various means to kill him. In fact, it wasn't just the demon race that had such a list. The human race had a similar one. In the countless years of struggle between the human race and the demon race, it had become common for both sides to secretly assassinate each other's geniuses. In racial conflicts, no means were considered too ruthless. As long as the goal was achieved, it was acceptable. Once, a top genius appeared in the human race and was added to the demon race's must-kill list. To kill him, the demon race even launched a war. This war affected dozens of star systems and nearly half a star domain, involving dozens of god-level beings. The human race defended fiercely to protect this genius, but in the end, they couldn't. No one expected that the demon race would pay a huge price to hire the Shadow Clan, known for their assassination skills. In the end, a god-level being from the Shadow Clan assassinated this genius, who was only at the true god level. The result was the loss of a top genius for the human race. The high levels of the human race were furious, and a peerless expert from the God City took action, killing their way into the Shadow Clan. They obliterated the God-level being who had acted and forced the Shadow Clan to sign a treaty. From then on, the Shadow Clan declared to the entire big world that they would not use assassins above the target's level in any assassination. In other words, if the target was at the true God level, the Shadow Clan would only use true God-level assassins at most. This treaty was made under the strong pressure of the human race. If not, the Shadow Clan might have faced extinction. However, Zhu Tian knew that the human race did not really want to destroy the Shadow Clan. In fact, for a long time, the human race often hired the Shadow Clan to assassinate geniuses of other races. But there had never been an incident where a god-level being killed a true god. That time, the Shadow Clan had gone too far and broken the rules. If the Shadow Clan had only used a god king, the human race might not have reacted so strongly. In the end, the Shadow Clan was just a tool. Tools could be used, but they couldn't break the rules. If they did, they had to be punished. The Shadow Clan wasn't strong enough, and in the face of the powerful human race, they could only bow their heads. After a moment of contemplation, Luo Chenkuan said,
All right, I agree to share information about Lin Moyu, but I have a condition. Speak!
Zhu Tian's attitude improved significantly upon hearing Luo Chenkuan agree. Luo Chenkuan said,
You can send people to protect Lin Moyu, but he must not find out. We need warriors, not flowers grown in a greenhouse.
Zhu Tian waved his hand.
Nonsense, do you think I don't understand that? I agree. Now tell me, what information do you have?
Luo Chenkuan straightforwardly shared what he knew.
After the demon race added Lin Moyu to the must-kill list, they contacted the Shadow Clan.
Zhu Tian snorted.
I guess they would do that. Do these guys have no other tricks?
Luo Chenkuan shook his head.
Besides the Shadow Clan, they also contacted another race. Which one?
Zhu Tian raised an eyebrow. Luo Chenkuan shook his head.
We don't know yet. The demons have kept this information very secret. We don't know much. If even you don't know, this must be serious.
Zhu Tian's face darkened. He knew the capabilities of the War God Hall. If even the War God Hall didn't know, it meant the demons were indeed being very secretive. The more secretive they were, the greater the threat, and the more cautious they had to be. Luo Chenkuan said,
The Hall Master wants to see Lin Moyu's potential. He came from a small world, or more accurately, he fought his way out of it. His killing intent is very strong, especially towards other races. This is both good and bad. So we need to continue observing him and not extinguish his killing intent.
Zhu Tian snorted.
You people think too much and make things so complicated. But I understand your point. I know what to do. Let me know if you get any new information. I'll think about whether to send someone to Lin Moyu's home world.
Luo Chenkuan nodded.
I've thought about that too, but I suggest you ask the city lord. You might get a different answer.
Zhu Tian's eyes widened.
Do you know something?
Luo Chenkuan shook his head.
I don't know, but I asked a similar question. You can ask too. All right, let me know if you get any new information.
After speaking, Luo Chenkuan disappeared from the Human Emperor network. Zhu Tian also left. He sat in his chair, tapping the armrest with his fingers, muttering to himself.
It seems old Luo knows something. This guy won't say and wants me to ask the city lord. Ask then, what's there to be afraid of?
He then reported his intention to investigate Lin Moyu's home world. He quickly received a reply from the city lord. The reply was simple, just 2 words. Not allowed. But these 2 words made Zhu Tian's face change slightly. The refusal was so straightforward, it was clearly unusual. He became even more curious. Was there something special about Lin Moyu's home world? 1004. Chapter 1004. The Arrival of the Buddhist Clan, Discussing Buddhism and Preaching. The Suzaka 90 to 1 star system is the only star system within the nearby 20 star systems that has a time house. Although not many people come to the time house, there are always some bringing some visitors from outside to Suzaka 90 to 1 star. Lin Moyu was comprehending the laws in the time house, completely unaware of the passage of time or the changes in the outside world. During his cultivation, batches of people came and went. Few people could, like Lin Moyu, spend a large amount of points for long-term cultivation. At the super god level, points were not easy to earn. With level 3 permissions, a task reward ranged from a few hundred to 1,000 points. After accounting for daily expenses and purchasing materials, there wasn't much left for cultivation. Unlike Lin Moyu, who had no such needs and earned points quickly. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had already spent 1,000 days in the time house, while 100 days had passed in the outside world. 1,000 days cost him a total of 100,000 points. As a staff member, Song Qiao was in an excellent mood, her smile becoming even more radiant. She could earn 1% of the 100,000 points, which was 1,000 points. For someone with only level 1 permissions, 1,000 points was a significant sum. On this day, the door of time house number 9 opened, and Lin Moyu walked out. 100 days in the outside world equated to 1,000 days in the time house, nearly 3 years. This was the longest period Lin Moyu had cultivated in one go since his career change. Indeed, time flies during cultivation. The law of time is magical and fair. He spent 3 years in the time house and his bone age increased by 3 years. If tested now, he would be a solid 31 years old, no longer 28. Even so, a 31-year-old at the 9th tier of the super god level was still impressive. During the 1,000 days, Lin Moyu continuously comprehended the law of immortality. With the tangible manifestation of the law as a reference, his cultivation speed was extremely fast, and his strength increased rapidly. Finally, after 1,000 days, he reached the 9th tier of the super god level with a law mastery of 9%. Just one more step to reach 10%, and he could enter the true god realm. Now, in the eyes of others, Lin Moyu was at the peak of the super god level. But Lin Moyu knew his own strength. Claiming to be invincible at the super god level was not an exaggeration. Even against ordinary 3rd or 4th tier true gods, he could fight and win, even kill them. Against a 5th tier true god, he could at least hold his own. Returning to the time hall, it was still cold and empty, with only Song Qiao, the staff member, present. Seeing Lin Moyu, Song Qiao quickly ran over.
Senior Lin, you've come out.
Lin Moyu nodded.
100 days have passed, so I came out. 100 days?
Song Qiao was slightly stunned. She then realized that Lin Moyu meant 100 days in the real world. Lin Moyu asked,
Is there a problem?
Song Qiao quickly shook her head.
No problem, no problem. I thought Senior Lin meant 100 days in the time house. Luckily, I didn't disturb you.
During this time, Song Qiao had wanted to call Lin Moyu several times, but had held back. Lin Moyu didn't mind, smiling slightly.
It's okay, even if you had disturbed me. All right, I should be going now.
Song Qiao responded.
I'll see you out, Senior Lin.
For such a good customer who had earned her 1,000 points and was so easygoing, Song Qiao was full of goodwill. She led the way and watched Lin Moyu leave the star before returning, her eyes still showing some reluctance. After all, such good customers were rare. After leaving, Lin Moyu sent a message to Renchong, who quickly replied, saying he was in the 50th star system. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised. Renchong's presence in the 50th star system indicated his permissions had been upgraded to level 3. But what was he doing there? Without thinking much, Lin Moyu also headed to the 50th star system. As a medium star system, Suzaku 50 was much more prosperous than a low-level star system. Even the nearest Suzaku 51 star system couldn't compare. There was a fundamental difference between low-level and medium star systems. For a low-level star system to be upgraded, it needed to meet multiple conditions, one of which was the appearance of a god. This alone blocked most low-level star systems. The medium star system was bustling with people, and true gods and god kings were not uncommon. 9th-tier super gods were as numerous as cattle. Upon arrival, Lin Moyu received a message from Renchong, who had just completed a task. They met at the task center where Renchong, now at the 7th tier of the super god level, greeted Lin Moyu with exaggerated surprise.
Lin, you've reached the peak of the super god level.
Knowing Lin Moyu had mastered the law domain, Renchong understood that reaching the 9th tier meant Lin Moyu was at the peak of the super god level, far surpassing ordinary 9th tier super gods. Lin Moyu asked,
Why are you in the 50th star system?
Renchong replied,
To watch the excitement. Watch the excitement?
Lin Moyu was puzzled. What excitement was worth watching? Renchong explained,
Didn't you notice there are more people here than usual?
Lin Moyu looked around and indeed saw more people than last time, but he hadn't thought much of it, assuming it was just because medium star systems were more populated. Renchong pointed to the sky.
There are even more people in the starry sky.
Lin Moyu asked,
What are they here to see? The Buddhist clan is coming to discuss Buddhism and preach.
Reincarnated whispered.
Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. He had heard of the Buddhist clan, a unique race among the myriad races of the big world. They preached non-contention, occupying a piece of the starry sky without engaging in conflicts with other races. However, they were very powerful and other races generally did not provoke them. The relationship between the human race and the Buddhist clan was neither good nor bad, with no significant conflicts. In his previous world, there was a religion called Buddhism. Lin Moyu wondered if there was any connection between the Buddhism of his previous world and the Buddhist clan of the big world. Lin Moyu asked,
What does discussing Buddhism and preaching mean?
Renchong replied,
It seems you know nothing about the Buddhist clan. With your level 3 permissions, you should be able to access information about them.
Different permissions allowed access to different information. Lin Moyu had checked some information when he had level 1 permissions and even bought some. His soul armor was refined during that time, but he had been too busy to read more. Lin Moyu asked,
When is the Buddhist clan coming?
Renchong calculated,
In a few days, but the altar in the starry sky is already set up. Let's go take a look.
Lin Moyu agreed.
All right, let's go see.
1005 Chapter 1005 The Arrival of the Buddhist Clan, Dragonborn Altar. A massive altar stood erected in the starry sky. Starting from 1,000 meters away, cultivators of the human race surrounded it on all sides. The closest to the altar were god kings. Behind them were true gods and super gods, arranged in order of cultivation level. The time for the Buddhist lecture was still 3 days away, but Lin Moyu and Renchong had already chosen a spot to observe from afar. Renchong looked around curiously, as he had simply come to witness the commotion. Lin Moyu searched for information on the Buddhist clan with his level 3 permissions. With higher permissions, he could access much more information. Some of it described the Buddhist clan's affairs. The Buddhist clan was indeed a unique race among the myriad races of the vast world. Not only did they form their own clan, but they also accepted members from all races known as
converts.
As long as one converted to the Buddhist clan, they would become a member and receive the clan's protection. No matter their past crimes or evil deeds, the Buddhist clan would shelter them once they converted. Within the Buddhist clan, a common saying was,
Put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha on the spot.
The Buddhist clan accepted converts from almost every race, rarely rejecting anyone. Unlike the human race, which consisted solely of humans, or the demon race of only demons, the Buddhist clan was a diverse mix. Humans, demons, stone races, oxhead races, and more could all be found within the Buddhist clan. Most races in the vast world had representatives in the Buddhist clan. In fact, after a long time, even the Buddhist clan members themselves were unsure of their original racial origins. All who joined simply called themselves Buddhists, regardless of their original race. The Buddhist clan's cultivation levels were also divided differently from other races. The super god realm was called
Vajra.
In their terms, true god and god king were respectively
Arhat.
and
Bodhisattva.
the god lord realm was called
Buddha.
It was said that the strongest in the Buddhist clan were called
Patriarchs.
even more powerful than the God Lord realm. Lin Moyu compared the Buddhist clan to the Buddhism of his previous world and found many similarities. It seemed the Buddhist clan's teachings had spread far and wide, even influencing the small worlds and forming the religion of Buddhism. The Buddhist clan constantly propagated their theories of equality, nonviolence, and peace to the outside world. They would periodically visit various races to preach the Buddhist Dharma, which was the origin of these
Buddhist lectures.
Countless years had passed, and the Buddhist clan had visited innumerable times. Sometimes they would come every few decades, other times it would be over 1,000 years between visits. This time, it had been over 300 years since their last visit. The longer the interval, the grander the scale of the Buddhist lecture. Renchong whispered,
I've heard that this time, the Buddhist clan will traverse all 4-star domains, visiting over 100 star systems and holding over 100 Buddhist lectures, lasting for 10 years.
Lin Moyu let out a soft sigh and continued reading about the Buddhist clan. This race piqued his interest. Renchong continued,
I wonder how many people will be swayed by the Buddhist clan this time. Swayed?
Lin Moyu looked at him, not understanding. Renchong explained,
I heard this from the elders of my family. Every time the Buddhist clan comes to give a lecture, they take away a group of people. These people leave the human race and join the Buddhist clan, becoming Buddhists.
Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Don't the higher-ups of the human race manage this?
For the Buddhist clan to so blatantly take people from the human race, did the human race's leadership not intervene? Moreover, they were taking cultivators, which made Lin Moyu doubt the human race would simply allow it. There must be a deeper reason that he was not yet aware of. Renchong shook his head.
It seems they don't intervene. In fact, every time the Buddhist clan comes to lecture, those in power agree to it.
Lin Moyu pondered, realizing that the human race's lack of response was not the only peculiarity. Other races also showed no reaction to the Buddhist clan taking their people.
It seems there are some mysteries within.
Lin Moyu continued reading the information on the Buddhist clan. He could only see the basic information with his level 3 permissions. To obtain deeper knowledge, he would need higher permissions. There was still some time before the Buddhist lecture, so Lin Moyu decided to read other information instead. He enjoyed reading and could gain a better understanding of the human race and the vast world through the available data. The more information he read, the deeper his comprehension of the vast world became. Time passed unknowingly. Renchong's voice sounded in his ear.
The Buddhists are here.
Lin Moyu retracted his attention and looked in the direction Renchong pointed. A golden light flew towards them from afar. Its speed deceptively slow yet incredibly fast. The roar of a dragon echoed in his soul. Lin Moyu's pupils contracted slightly as he saw a dragon made entirely of golden light soaring through the starry sky. On its back was a resplendent golden Buddhist altar. A dragon as a mount. Lin Moyu was taken aback. The dragon was the highest existence in the dragon race. Yet the Buddhist clan used a divine dragon as a mount, carrying their altar through the starry sky. If the dragon race knew about this, he immediately realized his thought was incorrect. For the Buddhist clan to so brazenly use a divine dragon as a mount and carry their altar, the dragon race must have already known and permitted it. This meant the dragon race was among the
8 divisions
he had just read about, with dragons being one of the divisions within the Buddhist clan. Lin Moyu asked in a low voice,
Did the Buddhist clan also take divine dragons from the dragon race?
Renchong was unsure.
Perhaps the elders in my family did say that the Buddhist clan has representatives from almost every race. Only one race is an exception. Which race? The insect race.
Lin Moyu was startled. The Buddhist clan had representatives from myriad races, except for the insect race. Was it because the insect race was special? Renchong added,
I heard recently that the dragon race and the insect race have started fighting. Why are they fighting? Apparently, the insect race was using the corpses of the dragon race as puppets, and the dragon race found out. This is considered the greatest insult to the dragon race, so they started fighting.
Rinchang's words made Lin Moyu recall the deep space in the small world, where the insect race had occupied the corpses of dragons. Although they were only giant dragons, the giant dragon still felt greatly insulted. Later, he had told Antares about this, and Antares was equally enraged. Lin Moyu guessed that perhaps Antares had passed this information back to the dragon race. He did not doubt Antares' ability to do so. If this was the case, then the Buddhist clan was even more formidable in his eyes. The dragon race was willing to fight the insect race over corpses, but they permitted the Buddhist clan to take their divine dragons, which was an even greater insult. His sense of vigilance towards the Buddhist clan immediately heightened. The dragon's roar sounded again as the divine dragon carrying the altar arrived at the altar platform. 1006. Chapter 1006. This world is cruel, survival of the fittest. The sound of the Buddha's name resounded through the starry sky.
Amitabha Buddha.
The soul-shaking sound was like huge waves crashing, causing the entire starry sky to rumble. The previously noisy starry sky instantly fell silent. Everyone present had an unfocused gaze, losing their focus. This Buddha's name was peculiar. Apart from the people in the starry sky, those within the stars could not hear it at all. The precision of the sound's location highlighted the speaker's control over their power. It was exquisitely refined. For a moment, the starry sky was deathly silent. Lin Moyu frowned slightly, sensing a strange power contained within the sound. The sound carried a trace of a special law, trying to penetrate into his soul. Although the law was minute, it was tenacious, repeatedly colliding with the crystal wall outside his soul. The crystal wall hummed, blocking the invasion of the law. From the collision with the law, Lin Moyu could deduce its level.
At least a second-tier law, and among the higher-ranked ones in the second tier. The law carries a strong bewitching power, as if it could bewitch one's heart.
Based on his perception and the reactions of the crowd, Lin Moyu arrived at this conclusion. His vigilance heightened. He gently tapped Rinchang beside him and let out a low shout.
Wake up!
Rinchang shuddered, his eyes instantly regaining focus as he became sober. A chill ran through Rinchang's heart, and his face turned pale.
What happened? For a moment, I wanted to join the Buddhist clan.
Lin Moyu transmitted his voice.
Their Buddha's name contains a bewitching power that can influence others. However, as long as your willpower is firm enough, you can ultimately break free.
Just as Lin Moyu finished speaking, some people in the starry sky had regained their senses. The first to sober up were the God Kings. One by one, the God Kings regained clarity. The order in which they sobered up generally represented the strength of their willpower and soul. However, among the nearly 1 million people in the starry sky, no one was completely unaffected like Lin Moyu. Another Buddha's name resounded.
Amitabha Buddha. Here it comes again.
Lin Moyu didn't expect them to launch a second wave and felt a tinge of anger. But he immediately sensed something was amiss. All those who hadn't regained their senses after the first Buddha's name instantly sobered up and returned to normal after the second one. Laughter echoed through the starry sky.
I, Lin, have failed to properly welcome the Buddha who has come from afar.
Space twisted slightly, and a person suddenly appeared on the altar. Lin Tang, the domain master of the 50th star system. Lin Moyu had met Lin Tang before and had a good impression of him.
Greetings to Benefactor Lin.
The resounding voice came from the Buddha, who slowly flew out of the Buddhist altar, standing before Lin Tang. Buddha was the term used by the Buddhist clan, equivalent to the God-Lord realm in the vast world. As the domain master of the 50th star system, Lin Tang also possessed the God-Lord realm, on equal footing with the Buddha. It was evident that the Buddha and Lin Tang were old acquaintances, exchanging smiles and greetings in a harmonious atmosphere. What surprised Lin Moyu was that the Buddha was a member of the human race. He didn't expect a human god-lord to have joined the Buddhist clan, which was quite unexpected. He didn't know if the Buddha had already reached the god-lord realm before joining the Buddhist clan or if he attained it after joining. As Lin Tang and the Buddha reminisced, the starry sky fell into complete silence. The aura of god-lords naturally emanated, suppressing the entire scene, making the world utterly quiet. Even the distant stellar flames seemed to dim slightly. The divine dragon carrying the Buddhist altar coiled its body, motionless on the altar platform. After a moment, Lin Tang and the Buddha finished their reminiscence. Lin Tang's gaze swept across the starry sky, and his voice resounded slowly.
This Buddhist lecture will be presided over by the Buddha of the Buddhist clan. The Buddha has attained the God Lord realm. Although he will expound the Buddhist teachings, all paths eventually converge. Everyone should listen carefully. Remember, do not make any noise or disturbance halfway through. If you do not wish to listen, please leave. If anyone gains any insights during the lecture, do not cause any commotion or disturb others. The Buddhist lecture will begin 1 day from now. Please remain focused and await it.
As his words fell, Lin Tang slowly stepped aside, leaving the altar to the Buddha. The Buddha chanted another Buddha's name and pointed a finger at the Buddhist altar on the divine dragon's back. The altar let out a dazzling radiance, separating from the divine dragon's body and descending onto the altar platform. The golden Buddhist altar shone brilliantly. From within the golden light, 18 arhats holding various weapons flew out, taking positions around the altar to form a Buddhist formation. Renchong whispered,
This is the famous 18 Arhat formation of the Buddhist clan, an extremely powerful formation.
Lin Moyu had also read about the 18 Arhat formation in the information. According to the records, 18 Arhats at the God King level from the Buddhist clan could form this powerful formation, capable of contending with a God Lord. However, Lin Moyu could also see that the 18 Arhats on the altar were not real people but constructs created by the Buddhist clan's methods. Their true power was unknown, but their presence was awe-inspiring and intimidating enough. The divine dragon remained coiled in the sky, its eyes closed as if asleep. The Buddha manifested a lotus pedestal beneath his feet, with 12 petals, known as the 12-petal lotus pedestal. The lotus pedestal was a common Buddhist treasure, useful for combat, travel, and more. The higher the level, the more petals it had. A 12-petal lotus pedestal was at the God Lord level. The Buddha sat cross-legged on the lotus pedestal, hands forming a Buddhist mudra, and closed his eyes in meditation, awaiting the lecture. As time passed, more and more people arrived. The initial crowd of 1 million had doubled in size. The starry sky was filled with people, forcing Lin Moyu and Renchong to repeatedly retreat until they could no longer see the Buddha. Renchong asked,
Aren't we retreating too far?
Lin Moyu disagreed.
It's fine. Just listen with your ears. There's no need to see him. Also, while listening, maintain your willpower and don't be bewitched. If you can't resist, retreat. Otherwise, if you become bewitched and join the Buddhist clan, it won't be good.
Renchong seemed to understand, though not fully.
Will that really happen?
Lin Moyu nodded.
It's possible.
Based on his observations, he believed the Buddha might employ that law again during the lecture. Those with weak willpower could easily become bewitched and develop the desire to join the Buddhist clan. Lin Moyu even suspected that those who joined the Buddhist clan during previous lectures were people with insufficient willpower. As long as one's willpower and soul were strong enough, they wouldn't be affected. The human race didn't stop them because those with weak willpower were unlikely to achieve greatness. Such people were of no use, so the Buddhist clan could take them away if they wished. Sounded cruel, but that was the reality. It wasn't the human race being cruel. The vast world itself was cruel and unforgiving. Survival of the fittest. 1007. Chapter 1007. Take refuge in my Buddha to gain eternal life. The next day, with the chanting of a Buddha's name, the Buddhist lecture officially began. Over 200,000 cultivators had already gathered here, ranging from the super god realm all the way to the God King realm. Although the Buddhist teachings were different from those of the human race, the saying,
All paths lead to the same destination,
held true. One could still gain insights from listening. The Buddha's light shone everywhere, the golden radiance outshining even the light of the stars and illuminating the entire star system. The starry sky was filled with Buddha's light, shining brilliantly with golden and azure hues. However, within the stars themselves, ordinary people could not see the Buddha's light at all. Lin Moyu's pupils contracted slightly. With his clear spiritual sight, he knew that the Buddha's light was actually an illusion, a light of the soul. What was seen was not real. Only those with Buddha nature could perceive the Buddha's light.
What is Buddha? Buddha is the one who ferries all beings across. What is emptiness? Emptiness is not nothingness, but the state of being full.
One profound statement after another emerged from the Buddha's mouth, stirring the laws of the great world and causing ripples throughout the starry sky. Golden lotuses seemed to bloom from his mouth, and countless rays of golden light descended from the starry sky. Faintly, it appeared as if an invincible Buddha statue had manifested in the starry sky. The Buddha statue was boundless, occupying the entire starry sky, even larger than the star system itself. It was majestic, ancient, and vast, inspiring a desire to kneel and worship within one's heart. Countless people listened to the Buddha's voice and were either in a trance-like state with half-closed eyes or had completely unfocused gazes, forgetting themselves. Rinchong was one of them, despite Lin Moyu's earlier warning to maintain his willpower and not be bewitched by the Buddha's voice. Knowing and doing were two different things. He simply could not resist the Buddha's voice. Only a few god kings remained unaffected, their gazes still clear and undisturbed. Lin Tang swept his gaze across the scene, revealing a hint of satisfaction on his face. He looked at those god kings with approving eyes. Then, his gaze fell upon Lin Moyu, who was also unaffected, maintaining a clear gaze. Lin Moyu noticed Lin Tang's gaze and gave a slight nod in response, exchanging a smile with him. Lin Tang was well aware that Lin Moyu possessed a fourth-grade soul, naturally making him immune to the effects of the Buddha's voice.
It seems the young friend Lin is not interested in this Buddhist lecture.
Lin Moyu suddenly received a spiritual transmission from Lin Tang. Lin Moyu smiled faintly.
I have my own path.
Lin Tang laughed heartily.
Well said, well said. Persisting in one's own path and not being swayed by external influences is the right mindset. However, sometimes listening to the words of others may also provide insights for oneself. It's not a bad thing.
Lin Moyu suddenly asked,
Star Master, why do you allow the Buddhist clan to come and lecture to our human race? I've heard that each time, they take away quite a number of our people.
Lin Moyu had his own guesses, but guesses were merely guesses, not necessarily the real answer. With Lin Tang's status, he would undoubtedly know many things. Perhaps Lin Moyu could gain some information from him. Lin Tang smiled faintly.
There are matters involved that you do not have the authority to understand with your current permissions. I know you must have many guesses, some correct and some incorrect, but you need not concern yourself with them. This decision was made by those above us, and you, including myself, can only follow it.
Lin Moyu said softly,
I understand. Thank you for your guidance, Star Master.
Although Lin Tang did not provide Lin Moyu with an answer, he did reveal some information that aligned with Lin Moyu's guesses. The Buddhist clan came to the human race to lecture and preach, causing some members of the human race to take refuge in the Buddhist clan and leave the human race. The inside story was a decision made by the higher-ups of the human race. As for the specific reasons, Lin Moyu indeed did not have the authority to know them. In fact, even if he knew, he would have no power to intervene. Lin Tang was being polite to him. If it were someone else, Lin Tang would not have bothered to explain. Lin Moyu did not ask further questions. In the future, when his permissions and strength increased, the mysteries of today would naturally be revealed. The Buddhist lecture could last for a few days or even a month. During this period, more people would continue to arrive, but not many would leave. As Lin Tang said, even though one may persist in their own path, listening to others is not a bad thing. Although Lin Moyu maintained his own path, he did not mind listening. Moreover, his companion Rinchong had already fallen into a complete trance, so Lin Moyu needed to keep an eye on him. Gradually, Lin Moyu began to sense the unique nature of the Buddhist lecture. In the great world, any law could not be spoken or recorded on paper. Each person needed to comprehend the laws through their own understanding. However, the Buddha spoke eloquently, seamlessly integrating the concepts of the Buddhist clan with the laws of the great world, and expounding them in a remarkable way. This allowed the listeners to gain insights and understand the laws from his words, even though he did not explicitly teach any specific law but rather more abstract concepts. In just 2 days, some people began to gain realizations. Their auras started to change, becoming stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu also noticed that some people were using the Buddhist lecture as an opportunity to engage in spiritual battles, tempering their willpower. From this perspective, the Buddhist clan's lecture did provide some benefits to the human race. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed, and the Buddha showed no signs of stopping. The golden light in the starry sky continued to shine, and the Buddha's voice grew increasingly powerful. The illusory Buddha statue also became larger and larger. On the 7th day of the lecture, the Buddha's tone underwent a subtle change. The change was so subtle that almost everyone failed to notice it. Lin Tang noticed it and was slightly puzzled but did not say anything. At the moment the Buddha's tone changed, Lin Moyu suddenly trembled slightly. Outside his soul world, countless Buddha's lights suddenly appeared, illuminating his soul world.
Take refuge in my Buddha, and you shall gain eternal life. Take refuge in my Buddha, the venerable of infinite life. Take refuge in my Buddha, and be free from worries and sorrows.
The Buddha's voices resounded throughout Lin Moyu's soul world. The Buddha's lights were like giant hands, pounding on Lin Moyu's soul world, trying to enter it, but they were blocked by the crystal barrier. Lin Moyu's soul opened its eyes.
This is trying to make me take refuge?
At this moment, his soul was completely isolated from his body, temporarily losing control over it. He knew that this was the doing of the Buddha. However, he did not know if it was targeting him alone or everyone present. Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with a fierce light.
Want me to take refuge? Dream on.
His soul world erupted with a thunderous boom, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal let out a resounding dragon's roar, shattering the Buddha's lights. At the same time, the star spells of immortality shot out dazzling rays of light, clashing with the countless Buddha's lights. The tree of innate talents swayed endlessly, with countless branches whipping out from the crystal barrier, lashing at the Buddha's lights like innumerable whips, instantly tearing them apart. Immediately after, a great sun rose from outside Lin Moyu's soul world. The Buddha sat beneath the great sun.
Benefactor, your killing intent is too heavy. Put down the butcher's knife, and you shall become a Buddha on the spot. Take refuge in my Buddha, and you shall go to the pure land of ultimate bliss, free from disasters and illnesses, and gain eternal life.
The Buddha's gaze was like lightning, directed at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu responded with a cold smile.
My killing intent is heavy, but what business is it of yours? Get lost.
1008 Chapter 1008 Forcible Taming the Great Sun Buddha Ancestor. Lin Moyu's soul voice thundered like rolling thunder, shaking his soul world. It interrupted the Buddha's voice. This was his world, and in this world he was the master possessing immense authority. Especially with his 4th grade soul, his soul world was far superior to others. It was not easy for anyone to invade his soul world. Even though the Buddha Shenwen was at the God Lord realm and also had a 4th grade soul, it was still extremely difficult. The crystal barrier firmly protected his soul world, preventing external invasion. The great sun rose, and Buddha Shenwen sat beneath it. His gaze shot out Buddha's light.
A 4th grade soul, not bad. The benefactor has an affinity with my Buddha. If you don't take refuge now, when will you?
Lin Moyu let out a cold laugh, his killing intent rising. The tree of innate talents branches transformed into whips, wildly lashing at the great sun. The great sun was distorted and deformed by the lashing. Here, in Lin Moyu's domain, in the battle of souls, he was not afraid of Buddha Shenwen.
Amit Ba Buddha.
Buddha Shenwen chanted the Buddha's name.
The benefactor's affinity with my Buddha is predestined. There is no need for futile resistance.
Lin Moyu shouted coldly.
Screw you!
The branches lashed even more fiercely, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal flew out from his soul, transforming into a divine dragon with its massive mouth open, as if to devour the great sun. Buddha Xuanwen's eyes lit up.
The 9-colored dragon soul crystal. I didn't expect the benefactor to have such a profound connection with the dragon race. My Buddha clan has the 8 divisions, including the dragon division. It seems the benefactor's affinity with my Buddha clan cannot be escaped.
Lin Moyu was about to start cursing. What a bunch of nonsense, trying to connect everything to their Buddha clan. This Buddha clan, apart from absorbing all races, was extremely shameless. He clearly understood what taking refuge meant. It was brainwashing. If he truly took refuge, he would become a member of the Buddha clan and no longer belong to the human race. The things he needed to do would then become impossible. It went against his ideals. Lin Moyu's will was extremely firm. How could he be influenced? In his heart, he had already regarded Buddha Shenwen as an enemy. Against enemies, there was no need for many words, just kill them. His soul pointed at Buddha Shenwen beneath the great sun. Fusion spell. Time curse. With a hum, a red light flashed. Buddha Shenwen let out a muffled groan, revealing a hint of pain. To attack a soul, naturally, the best method was to use a soul-attacking spell. When Buddha Xuanwen's soul was attacked, his lecture in the starry sky also paused for a moment before continuing. The pause of less than a second made Lin Tang puzzled. He looked at Buddha Shenwen, as if trying to figure out what had happened. Buddha Shenwen was multitasking, lecturing while simultaneously attacking Lin Moyu. He was clearly angered by Lin Moyu's soul attack, as a black light suddenly appeared within the resplendent great sun. The black light carried killing intent, shooting out from the great sun and transforming into countless blades, clashing with the branches of the tree of innate talents.
No more pretense?
Lin Moyu sneered disdainfully. Buddha Shenwen said in a deep voice,
Since the benefactor insists on this, don't blame this Buddha for forcibly taming you.
Lin Moyu laughed coldly.
You can try.
Buddha Xuanwen's actions made Lin Moyu feel disgusted. He even felt that the Buddha clan was worse than demons. Demons were truly evil, but that was the way of the great world, unavoidable. But the Buddha clan's hypocrisy was even more detestable to him. Wanting to tame him? What a joke. Absolutely impossible. Buddha Shenwen joined his palms, forming a hand seal. The great sun immediately burst into raging flames, transforming into a massive fireball. It slammed heavily onto Lin Moyu's soul world, causing dense cracks to appear on the crystal barrier. Lin Moyu let out a muffled groan, not expecting Buddha Xuanwen's methods to be so vicious.
Go!
Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and his star spells shot forth, instantly enlarging and colliding with the great sun. The great sun was immediately blasted away, but a second later, it flew back again. Buddha Shenwen chanted Buddhist scriptures.
The benefactor can stop this feudal resistance. You have an affinity with my Buddha, and you must join the Buddha clan.
Lin Moyu did not respond. The branches changed their target, no longer lashing at the great sun but instead striking towards Buddha Shenwen. Buddha Shenwen formed another hand seal.
I invite the great sun Buddha ancestor to descend.
The blasted great sun exploded, revealing a golden-bodied Buddha ancestor. The golden-bodied Buddha ancestor emanated dazzling Buddha's light, like sharp swords, slicing through the branches of the tree of innate talents. The star spells were also severely damaged and flew back. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal, under the illumination of the Buddha's light, began to smoke. It let out an unwilling roar and flew back. The crystal barrier flashed, blocking the Buddha's light. However, Lin Moyu suddenly realized that the crystal barrier was gradually changing under the illumination of the Buddha's light. It seemed to be assimilating with the Buddha's light. Lin Moyu was horrified. This was forcible taming. From voluntary taking refuge to forcible taming. This was forcing him to join the Buddha clan. If the crystal barrier couldn't withstand it, then his soul world would be defenseless. The illusory great sun Buddha ancestor was terrifyingly powerful. Lin Moyu wanted to inform Lin Tang, but he was trapped in his soul world, unable to move his body. The Buddha's light was like a cage, imprisoning him tightly. Buddha Shenwen chanted the Buddha's name.
The benefactor, don't resist anymore. You have the Buddha nature within you. Resistance is futile. Like hell.
Lin Moyu's will was unshakable. His soul was also shining brightly, continuously strengthening the crystal barrier's power. But doing so could only delay the forcible taming, not stop it. Buddha Xuanwen's eyes revealed a smile.
Benefactor, how long can you keep this up?
Lin Moyu laughed coldly repeatedly.
A long time, longer than you'll live.
Buddha Shenwen lowered his gaze, realizing he couldn't persuade Lin Moyu, so he stopped trying. Lin Moyu continuously strengthened the crystal barrier's energy, consuming a vast amount of soul power. The tree of innate talents sent over all the soul power it had recently accumulated without reservation. The Buddha's light grew increasingly scorching, and the Buddha's voice constantly assailed Lin Moyu within his soul. Within the Buddha's light, countless Buddhist texts appeared, sticking to Lin Moyu's soul world like ghostly talismans. In the blink of an eye, more than 1/10 of the crystal barrier had been eroded by the Buddha's light. Lin Moyu looked at Buddha Shenwen, knowing he was the root cause. To extinguish the illusory great sun Buddha ancestor, the most important thing was to extinguish him. With a thought, his soul essence shot out like lightning towards Buddha Shenwen. His soul power surged violently, instantly becoming extremely ferocious. Buddha Xuanwen's expression changed drastically. Lin Moyu was actually going to self-detonate his soul. Buddha Shenwen formed a hand seal, and a golden soul robe appeared on his soul, along with a golden bell. The bell rang, showering countless rays of light, protecting Buddha Xuanwen's soul. Boom! Lin Moyu's soul self-detonated. Not just his soul, but his entire soul world. The ferocious power ravaged this void world, blowing Buddha Shenwen away, and causing numerous cracks to appear on the bell. The self-detonation was too sudden, and Buddha Shenwen had no time to stop it, his expression turning extremely ugly. He never expected Lin Moyu to be so resolute, willing to self-detonate his soul to avoid being tamed. But in the next second, his eyes narrowed. In a purple glow, Lin Moyu's soul reappeared, completely unharmed. Even his soul world had reappeared, restored to its original state. The parts of the crystal barrier that had been assimilated by the Buddha's light were also back to normal.
How is this possible?
Buddha Shenwen turned deathly pale, momentarily losing his composure. 1009. Chapter 1009. How did he suddenly die? He had just clearly seen Lin Moyu's soul self-destruct, but in the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu was alive again. Not only was he alive, but he was also in perfect condition, and even his soul world had been restored to its original state. He had lived for countless years and had never seen someone who could recover after their soul self-destructed.
This boy has a big secret.
Kongwen Buddha's heart tightened, and his gaze changed. He no longer wanted to convert Lin Moyu but wanted to obtain the secret on Lin Moyu. The secret that could restore a soul was an irresistible temptation for anyone. Even at the God Lord level, where one is said to be free of desires and emotions, the Buddha of the Buddha clan was no exception. They were not truly free of desires and emotions. They just hadn't encountered something that truly moved them. Now he had encountered it, and he desired it, his eyes showing greed. Lin Moyu caught this look and naturally knew what Kongwen Buddha wanted.
Hypocrite!
Lin Moyu sneered, becoming even more vigilant. The more hypocritical a person, the more dangerous they were. His comprehensive rebirth talent had a cooldown of 50 seconds. As long as he could hold out for 50 seconds, he could self-destruct again. Judging by the previous situation, 50 seconds would not be a problem.
Amitabha Buddha!
Kongwen Buddha chanted.
Benefactor Lin, if you agree to take refuge in my Buddha, I can accept you as my disciple.
Lin Moyu spat, his eyes cold.
You are not worthy.
Lin Moyu was not one to be swayed by threats or bribes. and Kongwen Buddha's expression turned cold.
If that's the case, then don't blame me for being ruthless.
He took out a string of prayer beads and threw them towards Lin Moyu's soul world. The prayer beads exploded midway, and all 108 beads shot towards the crystal wall like meteors. The soul world rumbled and shook continuously. The crystal wall immediately showed numerous cracks, spreading like a spider web. At this moment, the projection of the great Sun Buddha ancestor also struck, a giant Buddha palm slamming onto the crystal wall. The soul world shook violently again, instantly covered in cracks. Lin Moyu's face changed slightly. He hadn't expected Kongwen Buddha to be so decisive, resorting to lethal force when conversion failed. Wasn't he after his secret? Lin Moyu thought of a possibility. Perhaps even if he died, Kongwen Buddha could still obtain his secret. Just like Antares' soul search, perhaps the Buddha clan had similar methods for resurrecting the dead. The tree of innate talents shook wildly, its branches flying out towards the 108 prayer beads. The prayer beads were too powerful, likely weapons specialized for attacking souls, and the branches of the tree of innate talents couldn't block them. The projection of the great Sun Buddha ancestor struck palm after palm, and the tree of innate talents was equally powerless to stop it. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal flew out but was slapped back by the projection of the great Sun Buddha ancestor, becoming listless. The soul world was on the verge of collapse. Facing a desperate situation, Lin Moyu remained calm, thinking about how to respond.
Would detonating the star spells work?
At this point, he could only try. Lin Moyu was decisive, immediately choosing the 4-star bone spells. For star spells flew out, heading towards Kongwen Buddha.
Useless!
Kongwen Buddha produced a jade plate, which quickly enlarged and collided with the star spells with a loud bang, sending them back. Lin Moyu's heart turned cold. Was there really no way out? The soul world continued to endure attacks, and no matter how the tree of innate talents resisted, it was futile. He was at the 9th tier of the super god level, while the opponent was at the god lord level. Even though both had 4th grade souls, the gap was still too large. The crystal wall was covered in cracks, and the soul world was on the verge of collapse. There were still 20 seconds left until his talent's cooldown ended. In the last 20 seconds, Lin Moyu didn't think he could hold on. Kongwen Buddha's eyes were filled with cruelty, showing none of the Buddha clan's supposed detachment and non-contention. Lin Moyu's eyes were also filled with hatred. He had seen the hypocrisy of the Buddha clan and vowed in his soul world,
If I, Lin Moyu, survive, I will destroy the Buddha clan in this life.
Kongwen Buddha sneered in his heart.
You won't have the chance.
Suddenly, a strong aura emanated from the depths of Lin Moyu's soul. The aura swept through the soul world like a tidal wave. All the prayer beads exploded into powder. Even the jade plate shattered on the spot. The projection of the great Sun Buddha ancestor was directly destroyed by this aura and disappeared. Kongwen Buddha's face changed dramatically.
Who is it?
Lin Moyu saw a pair of eyes appear in the void space at the deepest part of his soul. These eyes were very familiar to Lin Moyu. He had seen them many times during skill demonstrations when awakening his skills.
System.
Lin Moyu showed a look of surprise. He hadn't expected the system to appear at this critical moment. Kongwen Buddha's eyes showed fear. He knew more about the soul world than Lin Moyu. The void outside the soul world was the true infinite void. No one had ever reached the deepest part of this void. All who tried were lost and never returned. This included god kings, god lords, and even stronger beings. Their souls were lost, leaving only empty shells. In the great world, the mysterious soul void had become the first forbidden zone, untouchable by anyone. But now he saw a pair of eyes in the soul void. This terrified Kongwen Buddha, and his first instinct was to flee. But when those eyes looked at him, he was immobilized as if struck by a petrification spell. Then, a red light flashed in those eyes, and Kongwen Buddha's soul exploded with a bang, turning into countless soul fragments. The soul fragments fell like raindrops onto the crystal wall, instantly repairing its cracks. The remaining soul fragments were absorbed by the tree of innate talents, refined, and then further refined by the 9-colored dragon soul crystal before being transmitted to Lin Moyu's soul. Lin Moyu's soul quality rapidly improved. Kongwen Buddha was at the God Lord level, and his soul was also 4th grade, reaching the intermediate level. He was much stronger than Lin Moyu. His soul power was like a great tonic for Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's soul quality immediately improved significantly, firmly establishing itself at the 4th grade. The crystal wall shimmered with a soft light, becoming more crystalline and stronger. After that one glance, the system disappeared again. The infinite void was boundless, and Lin Moyu didn't know where the system had gone. But Lin Moyu knew that as long as the system was still there, that was enough. As Kongwen Buddha's soul was destroyed, in the real world, the Kongwen Buddha lecturing in the starry sky suddenly fell silent, his head drooping, and his life force instantly vanished. Lin Tang's face changed, and he flashed to Kongwen Buddha's side. After checking, his face turned pale.
His soul is gone.
Without a soul, the body was just an empty shell. Even at the God Lord level, it was impossible to come back to life. A dragon's roar sounded, and the golden divine dragon that had been coiled with closed eyes suddenly rushed down.
What happened?
Lin Tang said,
I don't know. Kongwen Buddha's soul suddenly disappeared.
The divine dragon checked and found it to be true. There were no signs of a battle, and most people were still entranced by the Buddha's voice, not yet awakened.
What on earth happened?
Lin Tang was extremely puzzled. How did Kongwen Buddha suddenly die? 1010. Chapter 1010. Analyzing the situation will never speak. The arrival of the Buddha clan to discuss Buddhism and preach is no small matter for the various races of the great world. Lin Moyu. This time, the arrival of Kongwen Buddha attracted millions of listeners. After a few days of preaching, Kongwen Buddha ended up preaching himself to death. Such a sudden and bizarre event happened right before their eyes. Yet Lin Tang had no clues at all. The divine dragon that carried the Buddha Hall, possessing the strength of a God Lord, was equally puzzled. How could Kongwen Buddha die so inexplicably? Helpless, Lin Tang could only report the matter to Zhu Tian. Lin Moyu, like everyone else, seemed to be immersed in the Buddha's voice. He couldn't possibly admit the truth, otherwise he wouldn't be able to explain it. Could it be that Kongwen Buddha tried to kill him but was counter-killed by his own system? Moreover, he still didn't know the exact relationship between the high levels of the human race and the Buddha clan. The various actions of the Buddha clan and the tacit approvals from the human race made Lin Moyu feel that something was off. Lin Moyu was not foolish. He now clearly understood that, in the great world, strength speaks. Without strength, everything is meaningless. If a being stronger than a God Lord were to appear, even their fart would smell fragrant. He pondered over the recent events in his mind. The development of this incident was too rapid, leaving Lin Moyu with little time to think during the process. Now, looking back, it was clear that Kongwen Buddha was targeting him. From just one point, Lin Moyu could deduce this. Kongwen Buddha knew his surname was Lin. Kongwen Buddha was not of the human race and could not have seen his name through the Human Emperor Network. Moreover, in the soul world, the Human Emperor Network lost its function. Among millions of people, if Kongwen Buddha wasn't targeting him, how could he know his surname was Lin? Initially, Kongwen Buddha tried to conceal it, but once his killing intent arose, he no longer cared.
He was targeting me, but I have no interactions with the Buddha clan. Why would he come after me? First, he tried to convert me. When that failed, he tried to kill me. Since coming to the great world, I haven't offended anyone. It can't be the human race. Then it must be the demon race. I'm just not sure if it was Kongwen alone or if the entire Buddha clan wants to kill me.
Lin Moyu quickly deduced that the mastermind behind the attempt on his life was most likely the demon race. He felt a bit helpless about this. It seemed he would have to be even more cautious in the future. Kongwen was able to find him among millions and knew he was there. The methods of the Buddha clan were not to be underestimated. After reaching this conclusion, Lin Moyu recalled the entire process of the soul battle. The battle erupted in his soul world, which was actually advantageous to him. Kongwen Buddha's soul grade was similar to his, both being 4th grade. Theoretically, he shouldn't have feared Kongwen Buddha, but he lost and almost lost his life. It was due to the treasures Kongwen Buddha possessed. One soul treasure after another left him defenseless. Since his career change, this was the first time he felt such powerlessness. This made Lin Moyu vigilant. The great world was different from the small world. In the great world, there were many treasures, and this was just a trivial example. He might encounter more and stronger treasures in the future. Being empty-handed would put him at a disadvantage. He needed to acquire some treasures for himself, especially soul treasures, which were indispensable. Finally, someone woke up. Lin Moyu woke up along with them, his eyes showing a hint of confusion, as if he didn't know what had happened. More and more people woke up, and Lin Moyu took the opportunity to wake up Renchong. Renchong was even more confused than Lin Moyu, his eyes dazed.
What happened?
Lin Moyu whispered.
It seems something happened to Kongwen Buddha.
Reincarnated exclaimed.
What happened to Kongwen Buddha?
Lin Moyu shook his head, indicating he didn't know. He had to act the part fully. He couldn't tell anyone the truth. The two stood at the outermost edge of the crowd, vaguely able to see some of the situation on the altar. At this moment, only Lin Tang and the Divine Dragon were on the altar. After a while, space twisted, and a small warship suddenly appeared in the starry sky. In the next second, Zhu Tian flew out of the warship and appeared on the altar with a single step. Lin Tang recounted the events. Zhu Tian carefully examined Kongwen Buddha's condition and said loudly,
Everyone, disperse.
The Divine Dragon raised its head sharply.
No, what if the culprit is among them?
Zhu Tian's eyes narrowed slightly.
Do you think someone here could silently kill Kongwen Buddha?
The Divine Dragon was at a loss for words. Among those present, the highest cultivation level was the God King, and there weren't many of them. Most were at the True God realm or even the Super God realm. How could they silently kill a God Lord like Kongwen Buddha? If that were possible, the Buddha clan's Buddhas would be too fragile. Zhu Tian said in a deep voice,
I will discuss this matter with your Buddhas. You should take Kongwen Buddha back. Perhaps the high levels of the Buddha clan can find some clues. Since this happened within our human race's territory, we will investigate thoroughly. I also want to know which powerful being can silently destroy a Buddha's soul.
As the domain master, Zhu Tian held a high status. With his words, the Divine Dragon dared not object. It carried the Buddha hall again, placing Kongwen Buddha's body inside, and flew into the starry sky. Lin Moyu watched them leave, feeling a bit regretful. If he could have that body, he would have a new trump card. Even if he encountered a God Lord in the future, he would have a fighting chance. Unexpectedly, such a grand Buddhist lecture ended in this manner. The crowd in the starry sky dispersed, and Renchong pulled Lin Moyu.
Let's go too.
Lin Moyu didn't want to stay here any longer, fearing complications. Suddenly, Zhu Tian's voice sounded in his ear.
Lin Xiaoyu, please come over.
Lin Moyu paused and said to Renchong,
I have something to do. You go back first and wait for me.
Renchong didn't ask what it was and agreed directly.
All right.
Lin Moyu flew over and landed in front of Zhu Tian.
Lin Moyu greets the Domain Master and the Star Master.
Zhu Tian smiled slightly.
So you know each other.
Lin Tang said,
We met once before. When Lin Xiaoyu came to the star system, I greeted him as a fellow world master. I see.
Zhu Tian smiled, seemingly unconcerned about Kongwen Buddha's death. To him, Lin Moyu was more important. Zhu Tian took out 2 items, a small tower and a small sword. Both items emitted dazzling light and powerful auras. Especially the small sword, its aura was almost at the God Lord level and carried soul power. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned.
Soul treasures.
1011.